amazing side that could very easily get to Old Trafford.
Here's a chance for Brand! The Leopards are in! Here's danger! And John is in!
Two tries in a matter of moments.
The ultimate smash and grab for Wakefield. Try for the Leopards. Big trouble here. Field's going to go in. Wigan are in again.
Lewis Cobb will finish.
What a sensational try from the Catalan Dragons.
Tonight on Sky Sports, we bring you a round 5 fixture from the Betfred Super League that pits together two sides who met memorably in last year's playoffs. On that occasion, and with seasons on the line, the Leigh Leopards prevailed. Now a chance for Trinity to show what lessons they learned. Well, Darryl Powell has promised that, unlike last September, Wakefield will tonight bring a physicality he felt was missing when they bowed out in 2025. While some squads around the Super League battle injury issues, Trinity rolled into this one spoiled for choice and able to send out a 17 that will be confident of claiming 2 points. And not so fast, say Leigh. A revelation since they returned to Super League, Adrian Lamb has fashioned a side that have the ability to dig deep in times of injury adversity like this they are currently enduring. Wouldn't Super League stand up and take notice if the Leopards could come here tonight and wrestle a win from buoyant Wakefield? Yes, hello and welcome to the DIY Kitchen Stadium in Wakefield. It's a great pleasure to have your company here on Sky Sports for this round 5 fixture, and we have a very busy show in the build-up to this one. We're going to start, of course, as ever, with Jenna's news. She'll run us through the big headlines of the week. And then with Super League's 30th birthday on the horizon next Sunday, when we celebrate it live on Sky Sports, we're going to reveal tonight the all-time 13s of Jamie Jones Buchanan and John Wilkin. And of course, we'll bring you up to speed with round 5. One game last night, one about to complete in the south of France, and 2 more live games for you on Sky Sports. So let's kick it all off by going the other side of the field here at Wakefield to Jenna for a news roundup. Jenna.
Yeah, Brian, I can tell you there's a bit of an NRL theme to this week's news. Michalewski becomes the latest Leeds Rhinos player to pledge his future to the new NRL franchise, the Perth Bears, who, of course, joins Harry Newman and James McDonald from next season. We saw incredible scenes, didn't we? Down under a week ago, South Sydney winger Alex Johnston crossed with 2 tries. His second was his 213th. Making him the most prolific try scorer in the competition's history. The try was remarkable, but perhaps the scenes afterwards are unforgettable as thousands of fans stormed the pitch, if you like, to celebrate with the player. Players had to be escorted down the tunnel, back into the dressing room. One famous face on that pitch celebrating was the Aussie Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, a lifelong South Sydney supporter. Now listen, the NRL, this potential investment into Super League, the story, it continues to rumble on, doesn't it? Well, this week there were rumours that £250 million over 5 years had been offered to Super League. Well, I can tell you that there has not been an official offer on the table as of yet. There is still dialogue between the two competitions. This is despite Peter V'landys, of course, putting in that deadline for an offer to be accepted by the end of May. I can tell you, as I said, that there is no official offer on the table as of yet. So I guess, Brian, the clock is ticking.
Yes, Jenna, thanks very much. More on that very shortly. First, congratulations, of course, to Alex Johnson, John Wilkin, Jamie Jones Buchanan. I've worked it out. He moves to within 583 tries of Brian Bevan.
Yes, so cynical. Brian Carney. You're better than that.
Oh, well,
You're better than that.
I mean, I'm delighted for Alex Johnson, but I think we should recognise 796 tries as well for the great Brian Bevan.
Yeah, mate, it's phenomenal, isn't it? And I just love the celebrations there.
Oh,
and
wonderful
the cohesion, the fans, the players. It's important that. I'm always talking about celebrating wins. It's binary in sport. You win or you lose, you have success, you have milestone, history, heritage. You've got to box that up and enjoy it when it happens.
Yeah, well done to Alex Johnson, one of the good guys in the NRL. NRL investment. Your thoughts as this continues to tick along?
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting. Any deal, it's all about the detail. It's all about the clauses that sit within that deal. And as it stands, there's no deal on the table. What we're seeing is a very public negotiation going on. Peter Volandis using terms like train wreck, setting the NRL's position out as a position of weakness in this country, and then we're sort of setting a value at £250 million. That sort of is a public jockeying, and it's just the art of negotiation that we're witnessing. Both sides negotiating a position, but there's no deal, Brian. Crucially, we need a deal. We need to see a deal in the terms of that deal.
Yeah, position's an interesting word. I'd be interested in what would happen if an offer came in tomorrow. Where are we? Where we're going? What we're doing? Right. And what lessons have we learned in the last 30 years when we went from the winter to the summer era, when there was all this Super League money and Rupert Murdoch was putting it in and there was Super League, and you know, what preparation or preparatory work is happening, going on with the owners, with the centre, because it's contextual. What is important to Matt Ellis will be different to what's important to Mike Danton, to Paul Caddick. You know, who's talking about what would happen if it came in tomorrow?
Well, I believe it's being led. Ultimately, it has to be led by the governing body, doesn't it? But here's what I understand about this, and I spoke to people this week, predominantly in Australia. It has to naturally happen in stages. Peter Volandis, when I spoke to him in Las Vegas, he was adamant that there had to be an independent commission, similar model to the one that they run in Australia. Not the Australian commission to run the game over here, but the model had to be similar. I believe that has now been broadly accepted over here, that an independent commission is the way to go forward. The makeup of that, who has the majority on that, is an all-important detail yet to be decided. When that happens, and I'm hearing overwhelmingly positive noises about this, when that happens, then that will unlock a stake offer, a percentage offer, and a financial offer.
It's all about the detail, Brian. Like you said, that could be the most crucial bit of information that's missing for us to get a deal done. I think the number, the financial element's almost a red herring. For us, it's really important.
I agree.
The details of how that's structured and how it works, how it collaborates with the NRL and what expertise we're using and where the money goes. You can throw money at a problem. Ultimately, it's how you utilise those funds that's going to be important in this country in particular.
You know, I'm not a sceptic, I'm a cautious optimist, but let me tell you, I've never been more optimistic that they are moving closer in the right direction than from what I've heard in the last...
Me too. I'm buzzing, I'm excited, I can't wait. I'm always optimistic, Brian.
We will keep you up to date on that as the news continues to trickle in over the next weeks and days, but there are negotiations happening, no doubt about that. There's a big birthday party coming up next Sunday as we celebrate Super League's 30th anniversary. Of course, you can take part in this as well. We've been asking you all week to vote on your all-time Super League 13. Scan the QR code, go to the link. The chance to vote for your all-time 13 closes on Sunday. Yours is already closed because we set you the arduous task of going through all the years of Super League, the ones you've watched as a young man, the ones you played in, the ones you helped coach in, head coach of Lee's Rhinos, and you've been a pundit for, to pick a 13.
Done a little bit of everything, Brian. This one of the hardest things I've done since I've finished playing. And what a privilege, by the way. Some of the world-class players that I've been fortunate to play with and against. It was really difficult. There's some good characters in there, and I'm going to talk about characters, not just players, but here's my 13. Really tough. Some good lads in there. Most of the players are players that I was scared to death when I played against them, and lads that saved me when I played with them. But you know, players like Leigh and Farrell, the type of player that I always wanted to be like. Jamie Lyon was just an absolute magician. James Roby, Mr. Consistency. Who doesn't want to be like James Roby, mentally tough and strong?
What position gave you heartache and headache?
The toughest one for me was Kevin Sinfield and Danny Maguire, both uncompromising for me. There's just no doubt they've got to be in there. But that meant I couldn't pick the great players like Paul Sculthorpe. Paul Sculthorpe for me was an absolute superhero. I love Sam Tompkins being in there, fullback as well. He was a real grub. He was tough to play against. I hated the fact that he was so good. He was so good, and I hated it. You couldn't break him, you couldn't bend him. He just moulded back like a piece of plasticine.
If Jones's team was a glass of wine, I'd be smelling it, and it's got a strong suggestion of Rhino running through it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Rhino. Well, we're going to get yours at the end of the game. Would yours beat that?
Yeah.
in a rugby match. It tried loads of times.
You've teased it brilliantly. Don't forget, we're going to celebrate it at Headingley. Leeds against Warrington next Sunday, the 29th. Make sure you join us. Scan the QR code on the Sky Sports website. Go to the Sky Sports website and pick your all-time Super League 13. Round 5 of the Betfred Super League got underway at the Brick Community Stadium last night. The York Knights, newly promoted into Super League, were in town. The Warriors were defending an unbeaten record so far and were shaken early, John.
Oh wow, it was an unbelievable game. Obviously York going up to a 14-0 lead. It's a try from North Lumu, who competed on a nothing kick. But York were good value for that 14-0 lead, Brian. They just dominated. The crucial turning point was a yellow card. 2 Liam Marshall tries. This is Adam Kieran scoring to put Wigan what you thought was well ahead and in the lead. How important was the drop goal from Harry Smith? Cool, calm, composed, executed perfectly, like he's in an armchair, just so relaxed. And
But York were not to be bullied.
No.
Now, when Junior got up after this scuffle at the end of the game, having played with you, John Wilkin, dog's body, I wonder, wow, how athletes have changed.
Well, yeah, I spent my life with a body like a melted welly, and that's what an athlete looks like.
Oh,
Yes.
wasn't he outstanding, Junior?
Yeah,
Let's take you to the south of France. St. Helens were down there taking on Toulouse Olympique. Wow, 28-0 up at half-time. Despite their injuries, it's 28-6 now as we speak. St. Helens have been sensational in this one.
Yeah, they're looking really good out. They're playing those usual plays, and Sailor just slipping through there. Murphy in support gets that wonderful offload on, and yeah, just outstanding from St. Helens. Yeah, dominant first half, wasn't it, from St. Helens? Paul Rowley needed that. Obviously decimated by injuries. I think injuries is something we're going to be forced to talk about. It's just really
still a strong 13 he put
It's
out.
a strong 13.
And you know what it gets me thinking about? A sold-out Saints-Wigan derby, Easter weekend, 2 weeks' time, already sold out. Well done to everybody at St. Helens. Just to remind you that all tries are available from midnight on Sky Sports app for you. Let's give you a quick look at the table after we plug in that result from last night, with Wigan, of course, remaining unbeaten. The other unbeaten record is the Warrington Wolves, of course. York, well, they are giving their very best in the competition this year. This is as it stands in Super League so far, with the Wigan Warriors sitting on top. St. Helens just behind them. Might we have a top-of-the-table clash in 2 weeks' time at St. Helens? Leeds, Warrington, Bradford and Wakefield making up the playoff places. Let's give you a reminder of the remaining fixtures in round 5. We're, of course, here at the DIY Kitchen Stadium in Wakefield. Trinity about to take on the Leigh Leopards. Of course, Bradford Huddersfield is another game on tonight. More on that very shortly. Warrington take on Castleford tomorrow. The Catalan Dragons host Hull KR, and on Sunday it's Hull FC against Leeds. Let's take you straight to Odsal, and there for us ahead of the Bulls game against the winless Giants is Mark Wilson. Mark, take it away.
Cheers, Brian. The Bulls unbeaten here at Odsal. They've made it 2 from 2. The Giants yet to win anywhere in Super League this year. Let's have a look at the two teams, and they're both ravaged by injury. We'll start with the Bulls. 4 debutants for them. They signed Jack Ormerod and Chris Atkin this week, both in the 17. There's a belated debut for Jaden Nikarima. He's in the halves alongside Luke Hooley. Joe Mellor is at loose forward. He's been outstanding. And the Wakefield loanee Trey Lalesio is on the bench. What about the Giants then? They're without a host of star players, but they are boosted by the inclusion of 3 Leeds Rhinos loanees. Riley Lum and Ned McCormack start. Presley Cassell is on the bench. And Tom Burgess is back where it all started. He starts in the front row, where Zach Wolford is back after missing the last 2. And George King makes his first start of the year. Feels like a big night here at Odsal. Will the Bulls stay unbeaten here, or will the Giants get a win? It's Huddersfield at Bradford.
Well, thanks very much, Mark. The Giants, yes, absolutely desperate for a first win of the season. Will those 3 Leeds debutants, Leeds loanees, make a difference? The boys have both gone for a home win in Bradford to remain unbeaten at Odsal. I want to talk to you now about the game between Wakefield Trinity and the Leigh Leopards. Darryl Powell said something after last year's playoffs. He says, we want to play like Leigh. We'll get to that very shortly. In terms of being like Leigh as a club, Leigh, after their promotion, have become maybe the blueprint, something we refer to, for promoted clubs, and Wakefield following suit.
Yeah, I think that meteoric rise to the top. Restocking and the rebuild for both of these clubs started importantly in the Championship. It wasn't once they got into Super League, they recruited Super League teams. It started 12 months prior. So obviously that year in the Championship is really important for both of them. But more importantly, what they've done since they've got into Super League, Brian. Both made the playoffs in year 1. And the speed at which they've developed maybe accelerated maybe what Hull KR have done. Look, 10 years ago they came back into the comp, and now they're one of the best sides in the comp. But certainly Leigh have laid a really important track that Wakefield have followed.
Well, let's talk about playing like Leigh. Darryl Powell said after that 26-10 playoff defeat, we got beaten for intent. They will have a chance if they're playing at that level. Leigh, well, they taught us many big lessons. Let's see tonight is what he's saying to his team this week, if we've learned the lessons from that defeat.
Yeah, that's the challenge, isn't it? That's the gauntlet thrown down, and that's the message for the middle unit. And when you're a coach, you want to tick those boxes. This is what my team is capable of. These are the tools in the proverbial box. You'll see them pummeling. This is a massive part of the game, that middle third. And I saw it last night at York. I think John articulated it really well. The teams that are playing direct, squaring up and trying to punch holes through teams are the ones that are getting to play the balls and getting all the joy, all the points. And Wakefield, they want to prove that they've got that metal, that steel in their side.
Darryl will want to see the on-field improvements, the off-field improvements, which are there for all to see here at Wakefield, have been led by the new ownership group, the Ellis family. And Matt Ellis joined John and Jenna on the Bench podcast. It is well worth a listen if you haven't already. He outlines the investments that his family have made into this great traditional club to take it into the next to take it forward for the next generation. Let's hear from the coaches now. Jenna standing by with Darryl Powell. Jenna.
Yeah, what a win they had last week in the Challenge Cup against the Leeds Rhinos. However, as you touched on there, Brian, Darryl Powell, you say that there's still so much improvement in this team. How close are they to the side that you were building in pre-season?
Yeah, well, I just think we built into the season really well. Obviously, we had a couple of tricky games early on where we weren't quite at our best. But the last couple of weeks, I think we've built something, a standard we've set for ourselves. Now it's about being consistent.
Mason Lino misses out tonight, still recovering from that injury. If he was 100% fit, given how well Jack Sinfield has been playing, is he guaranteed a place in your team?
Well, the two half-backs playing really well at the moment. You know, I think Jack's had an unbelievable pre-season that's set him up. Look, I'll make decisions. So Harvey misses out tonight, for example, just to look after him, really. He's a young player who's been starting games for us, and I just feel like it's the right time. Whether that happens with Jack, I'll make that decision when we get to it. But I can't argue with what Jack's doing at the moment. He's started the season really well. Yeah,
3 player of the match performances so far. I mean, it's a good headache to have. Darryl Powell, best of luck tonight. Thank you very much. We'll bring in Adrian Lamb, the head coach of the Leigh Leopards, and it's quite the reverse for you, isn't it? 18 fit players tonight. Just how challenging has this season been so far?
Oh, it's been fun. No, massive challenge, but you know, it's part of the coaching journey and the players as well. It gives players an opportunity to perform. So, you know, we've got a simple game plan tonight. We just need to execute that and make sure that we give ourselves a chance.
What is the game plan?
Do I need to tell you? You pass that on? No, obviously, it's just the important smart things and the standards that we set that are high. And, you know, I think the teams that come here in the first couple of rounds of the season have erred their way through the game and given Wakefield a chance. So we're going to try and keep that as high as we can. And as simple as that is, that's what it is this week.
How important will it be for your half-back pairing to click into gear tonight?
Yeah, really important. You know, they haven't quite clicked yet. Clunky at times, but we anticipated that, but they're getting better. So I've just got to persist with that and keep coaching.
Adrian, good luck.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Well, just a couple of years ago, they won 1 from their first 10, then 10 of their last 12 and made the playoffs. So Adrian Lamb might not be too rattled by the predicament they find themselves in. But Jenna's absolutely right. That half-back combination has to click tonight. A lot will be on Cook's shoulders, maybe more on Lachlan Lamb's shoulders.
Yeah, Adam Cook and Lamb not quite clicked there yet, but they're missing a lot of pivotal players as well. Like Edwin Napapi, who's usually outstanding, playing off the back of him through the middle of the ruck there. But like I'm saying, it's a great opportunity, a great challenge for those guys to stand up and lead. And Lockie Lamb is going to have a say in this game. Certainly their left side been phenomenal, and when they're striking and playing well, he's at the forefront of it.
Do they need to make it messy, as an old coach of ours used to say?
Well, no, I think they need to be direct. I was at Wigan and York last night, and how direct York were really troubled Wigan. I think for both of these sides, they're in a conundrum because they both like to move the ball laterally. And what you do when you move the ball laterally, the way it's playing out this year is you're going away from tight defenders who've had to make multiple efforts. I think these two teams are going to go at it toe-to-toe, up the guts.
Jazz Tavanga did this against Leigh, and I think he was an individual that sparked the forward pack for Wakefield in that brilliant cup win.
Yeah, he's combative, but he's also skillful. But he brings a directness that maybe Jay Pitts doesn't. Jay Pitts is on the bench. Now, if Darrell wants to go a different way, Jay Pitts can come on and move the ball. But Tavanga, without doubt, will be there to be abrasive in the middle of the field. And I encourage both of these teams here tonight to stay at the seam. If you get quick, stay there. And that's what Leigh needs to do, and it's certainly what Wakefield needs to do. That competition in the middle of the field is just going to be a war here tonight.
A huge crowd stands by here at the DIY Kitchen Stadium. You're all waiting at home for kick-off. We are moving minutes and minutes closer, and we're moving ever closer to next Sunday's 30th birthday celebrations for Super League, a competition and a 30 years in which Wakefield Trinity have certainly played their part.
Kick again from Jeffries, the ball has bounced! It's a try for James Evans! It's celebration time for James Evans because Wakefield are going to survive! Castleford are on their way down!
Oh, it's a busy day in the Betfred Super League. Let's take you to Oddsall, where Joe Mellor and the Bradford Bulls are taking on Huddersfield, who of course are looking for their first win of the season. They've dipped into the low market. They've got 3 from the Leeds Rhinos, who will debut tonight. Ned McCormick, Riley Lum and Presley Cassell for Luke Robinson's visitors, who are searching their first win of the season. Well, we are minutes away from kickoff here in Wakefield at the DIY Kitchen Stadium, where the hosts are looking to secure back-to-back competition wins for the first time this season. They face a Leopards side who beat them in last year's playoffs, and notwithstanding their injury issues, will provide a stern test of Trinity's early season progress. Well, it's a home sellout who will expect to see those learnings up close and personal. Off the field, Trinity have gone to the next level as the side they have come to support taken similar strides for owner Matt Ellis. Well, on-field progress took a significant upturn in the cup win against Leeds, according to head coach Darrell Powell. He's now looking to see if this 17 can continue the good work. Having missed the last couple of games, fullback Max Jowett is recalled, while on the wing Tom Johnston makes his 200th career appearance. The international flyer caught the eye against the Rhinos in his return from injury. Centres are Cam Scott and Ollie Pratt, who grabbed a try for himself last week. The halves are Jake Truman, who is thankfully enjoying an injury-free run, and Jack Sinfield, who has been superb since joining the club from Leeds. Tyson Smoothie has recovered from the head injury that kept him out of the last 2. He replaces Harvey Smith and is straight into a pack that is otherwise unchanged. Keep an eye on the abrasive Jazz Tavanga, whose physical approach has impressed Coach Powell. Our big boys to call upon on the bench: Matty Storton, Jay Pitts, Caleb Hamlin-Ueli and Kais Fatilli. We know which way Darrell's going, Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Tom Johnson again, who returned to world-class form in that cup competition. His engagements with Oliver Pratt have been world-class, but for me it's going to be right through the middle third. McMeekin, Rodwell, Tavanga as well. They're going to have to be really tough, start really well, but be disciplined, Brian.
Well, with injuries ravaging a few clubs, in particular, Adrian Lamb must look on in envy at the positive selection headaches facing Darrell at Wakefield. It's the opposite story at Leigh, as Lamb tries to navigate a host of notable absentees. Gareth O'Brien once more fills in at fullback within the senior formerly of this parish on one wing, and on the other, the man sitting second on Super League's all-time try-scoring charts, Josh Charnley. Centre Keenan Brand lasted a minute in Leigh's cup victory over a hole before succumbing to an ankle injury, so up steps the versatile Jack Hughes. Cook and Lamb are the halves, Lachlan in particular having a busy day in the Challenge Cup win, scoring a try and spending 10 in the sin bin. Following a fracas tonight, the influential 7 plays his 67th consecutive game. The front row is unchanged, with Ben McNamara filling in admirably for a giant Edwin Apape-sized hole in the front row. In the back row, Jacob Alec Winky starts, having come on last week for Andrew Badrock. Louis Brogan started the cup game 18th man, but HIA protocols saw him called into action. He's amongst substitutes of Liam Horn, Matt Davis and Ryan Brown, John Wilkin.
Yeah, the starting 13 for me is still pretty strong here, Brian, but where the pinch has been felt by Adrian Lamb and the Leigh Leopards is that bench, and maybe that's the crucial part of this game for me. Wakefield's bench is stacked. Leigh must control the speed and tempo of this game because they've not got an awful lot coming off.
I can tell you it has finished in the south of France. St Helens have emerged victorious against Toulouse Olympique, 30 points to 16. They move up into second spot on the table behind the Wigan Warriors. Will Wakefield Trinity progress up the ladder? Jamie Jones-Buchanan, who wins this one and why?
I've got Wakefield by 8. I just think it's a rising tide for Wakefield players coming back, playing well in form and want to continue that momentum.
Yeah, power punch, route one, direct. Darryl Powell's words echoing in the ears of a big forward pack that are going to be revved up to take this Leigh side on with the semi-final, the playoff game last year ringing in their ears.
Oh, they have been through the ringer over the years here at Wakefield, but it is a changed place. Enjoy this one from round 5 of the Betfred Super League with Leigh in town, and your commentary team is Kyla Moore, and we'll say good evening to Dave Woods.
Hello, Brian. Good evening to you as well. Fascinating matchup tonight, isn't it? A big win, only one league win in 4 for Leigh. Injury ravaged, but maybe just one 80-minute performance away from re-establishing their reputation as one of Super League's big hitters. And what about Wakefield? Looking like they are moving up through the gears very nicely now, doesn't it? Both on the back of very good cup wins as well. The winners tonight will get a phenomenal feel-good factor. And talking about feel-good factor, look at the light show we've got here. It is a place transformed, isn't it? Over the last couple of years, they come here with expectation these days, and their side have been delivering very often in the last couple of years. Kyle Amor wants a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed youngster at Wakefield Trinity. What are you looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, good evening, David. Enjoy been watching at home as well. What an entrance for these players to come into. So many good things happening here at Wakefield, but this man, make no mistake about it, Adam Cook, he is under pressure. All eyes will be on him tonight. He's not quite got his Super League career going, and a big performance is needed from him, no doubt about it. The Leigh Leopards, I get a feeling tonight they must win here. It's a huge moment for them in their season, and talking of huge moments, young Jack Sinfield, what a performance he's had over the last couple of weeks, calm, composed, collected, and guiding Wakefield all over the park. He's in fine form at the moment, and he'll want that to continue.
Well, it is a fantastic place now, isn't it? This is a ground you look forward to coming to. And we talk about the 30 years of Super League, big celebrations next weekend, of course. I mean, you look back, this club has played a big part in those 30 years, not every one of them, but a big part of those 30 years. And if you were here 30 years ago, you'd recognise this stadium, but my goodness, you'd recognise also that it has transformed incredibly. We're underway. A rugby league match to be played here, the smoke hanging in the air, that'll drift away. Leigh get early first touch of the ball as well. Fresh from that win against Hull last week in the Cup, but having picked up another couple of injuries, Keenan Brand and Andrew Badrock adding to that long list. Adrian Lamb tells us he's down to his last 18 players here tonight. So if they can get over the top of Wakefield, my goodness, doesn't that lift their spirits? But Wakefield are going to take some getting over the top of, aren't they? There's a big drive out as they try to clear their end of the field. McNamara out of dummy half again. So taken towards that 40-metre mark. Leigh fans below us are in great voice at the moment. Last play of the set. Here comes Lachlan Lamb with the kick away. And this should be a safe and easy catch for the returning Max Jowett here tonight.
Yeah, decent opening set defensively there from Wakefield. Jaden Myers putting the first shot on Robbie Mulhern. We expect a physical encounter, and what about this man? Back, Tom Johnson. First appearance, of course, of the season last week. 13 tackle busts to his name.
Jake Truman, he's another one who's been catching the eye of late, hasn't he? He looks to be in fine form at the moment, in partnership with Jack Sinfield in the halves. Very much part of what Wakefield are doing at the moment. Nicotimo will take them ever closer. So dummy half again. Smoothie will wait, looks to deliver. Back it comes here for Jazz Tavanga. Little pop back for a run for Sinfield, but they hit the last play. One to go. What do they conjure here? We've seen circus acts performing before the game. Are we going to see something magical here? The kick, but there's no juggle. It's taken safely enough by Gareth O'Brien.
Yeah, full back for the third time this season. His first run out in that demolishing at the Brick Community Stadium. Only 16 minutes from the bench, but he's kept his place ever since. Here comes Tessie New.
And it is a different dimension. We've mentioned it before on Sky Sports. It's in a different dimension with O'Brien at full-back instead of the two speedsters who are both out injured at the moment.
Yeah, but he has a lot of calmness about his game, doesn't he? And Leigh just trying to get further up the field. Ball out the back there.
Well, Wakefield's defence is looking pretty stern at the moment because once again Leigh find themselves on the last play and still trapped very much deep inside their own half. There's a necessity for a big kick, but it's taken safely enough again by Jowett. Missed the last couple of games. Josh Rourke played in his place, but he's back in for this one here tonight. Shows a little bit of the richness of variety that's available to their coach Darryl Powell just at the moment.
Yeah, it's what all the top sides have, isn't it, Dave? They have competition. Nobody's place is ever truly safe. And Wakefield are looking to build off the back of that famous win for them, dumping Leeds Rhinos out of the Challenge Cup. There's the edge here, 30 metres away from Leigh's line.
Smoothie again looking back for the ball inside. It finds its way into the hands of Truman, who just tries to ghost betwixt and between a posse of defenders, but there's no way through. They're on the last play. It's back with Sinfield, who's chipping for a corner. An aerial battle again, but taken superbly well by Senior. I mean, he's got height to his advantage, but even so, that was a very good take.
Yeah, it sure was. 6'3" of him. Tessie New just looks to try and get in between the Wakefield defenders. They haven't been in Wakefield's half yet, and this their third set with the ball.
Frankie Hilton on tackle 3. So another couple of plays to try and get themselves inside enemy territory here, but Wakefield swarming in defence. Looks like they might be going for another kick here at the end of this. Well, they are now finally over the whitewash, just tipping the balance a little as trap battles. There's one last play, so you'd expect a kick, and back it comes to Lamb again. Little end over ender this time, and a leap, and Miles is met the moment his feet hit the ground.
Unfortunate enough not to give away a penalty there. Tessie New just timed it almost perfectly, according to the referee. Pictures reveal that as well.
Here's Johnston, skipping the jump. It is a reflection of both clubs, isn't it? You know, 4 or 5 years ago, these two sides meet in any kind of a competition. You'd expect 2,000 or 3,000 here. Well, absolutely full here tonight, and both sets of fans giving us great noise. Smoothie, Tavanga helping it on its way again, and Wakefield again building, but once more running out of plays. So on the last, Sinfield looping it towards the corner. Well watched, well caught by Senior again. I don't think we've seen the ball on the right-hand side of Leigh at the moment, have we? Just Charlie's coming across to try and get involved and get himself warmed up here a little.
I was just thinking there, they are favouring that deep right-hand pocket as we look to this field, and Josh Charnley getting his first touch, I think it is, of the ball this evening. Jack Hughes operating out in the centre.
It's an arm wrestle, start of the game. Both sides trying to occupy the very best position that they can. Mulhern takes towards the halfway.
Decent carry there from Mulhern.
McNamara back to Liu, and Lamb across. There was an advancing defender that might have put him off the pass, but Senior will pick it up. Last again, Lamb. Here's O'Brien. Huge and high, but again the leap is good, and again Wakefield have possession. We're seeing a very familiar pattern in these early stages. Johnstone. Little spin around by those 3 defenders. Sinfield operating out of dummy half. Three plays gone, finding it a little harder to try and get themselves back in that Leigh half here, Wakefield. Balance maybe shifting, that was loose, and it's a mistake that has given Leigh excellent position here.
That's disappointing, isn't it? Jake Truman just spilling the ball there. It's the right knee that just dislodges it. It's a loose carry. And it's Leigh who have the first time of an opportunity in Wakefield's half here, Dave.
Best starting position to a set for the visiting side so far tonight. What can they make of this? Leigh, McNamara, Adrian Lamb, the Leigh coach, watching on. Down to the last available players tonight, but as has been mentioned many times, still a very decent side that goes out there. Wakefield takes it ever closer. McNamara out of dummy half. Leigh now with Lamb, and Lamb puts it back, and they're joining in with numbers. And Senior brushing off a couple of defenders, searching back for that line, but some solid resistance in his way. But they've still got tackles in the bag. It's back with Lamb again. Leigh now, a little bit of a juggle as he kept hold of that ball. Not the cleanest of takes, which reduced his options. Cook joining in again. Wakefield's line remains intact, and they will get the ball back perilously close to their own line.
Yeah, sign of relief there from Truman. The Leopards moving the ball from one side of the field to the other, really testing the Wakefield defensive line. They shut the door.
We mentioned they both had very decent wins last week. Leigh, tough game against Hull FC, and Wakefield perhaps more of an eye-catcher, coming from behind to beat Leeds. Lights went out, but when they came back on again, they won the game. So they are in terrific confidence at the moment. Trying to build. Smoothie again. This is Tavanga. Backing in. Three gone. That's loose. That's a penalty. Well, there's a relief. We saw Wakefield giving ball away a couple of sets ago, and now Leigh are the ones with the indiscipline.
Yeah, just too much messing around there. Robbie Mulhern just needs to clear the ruck, Dave. Tyson Smoothie spots it, and the penalty's given away.
Sinfield's kicked to touch has given Wakefield a starting position more or less on the halfway line. There are 2 balls on the field at the moment. Can't be doing that. Lots of rules that have been changed, but that's one that remains the same. Just the 1 ball. And Wakefield with a chance to try and build some pressure again. Manganar plays, and it's taken in by Rodwell. Smoothie's gone dashing across there. Here's McMeekan. 3 gone, 3 to go. Picked up by Smoothie. Left they look. Truman again now. He's trying to draw them in. Trying to create an opportunity here. Another set of 6 for Wakefield. First of those we've had tonight, and a chance for Cam Scott to put the big, Ollie Pratt to put the big left foot on, but can't find a way through. But they've still got 5 to go. Truman now, back it comes for Rodwell. Referee and the Leigh players back heeling back to that goal line. Truman goes left. And it's just going to be a denial tackle on Pratt. It's back with Truman again. Rodwell with a push. Smoothie. Sinfield, and a muscular effort from Vanganar. He's very close, but not quite close enough. This will be the last play. Smoothie goes wide. It's a flat ball, and Jazz Savanga picked his line, picked his spot, and Wakefield pick up the first points. Very nearly 11 minutes played, and they lead 4-0.
That's a neat try there from the loose forward. Just like what he does here, Dave. He just catches the ball and moves and drifts out to the outside shoulder of Isaac Leigh. Just watch the movement. As he goes to catch the ball, he pulls away from it, gets on the outside of Isaac Leigh, and in between Robbie Mulhern, the 2 guys that were involved in giving away the penalty for the field position for Wakefield. And his very first try in Wakefield colours. And didn't he just enjoy that one?
Well, I tell you what, we didn't enjoy. The fireworks belatedly went off. We were warned that there were fireworks going to go off every time Wakefield scored tonight, so we were waiting, and it didn't happen. And then suddenly there's fireworks going off, which rather took us by surprise. But the try has been confirmed in the background, so 4-0. We've got some more theatrical smoke blowing across the field. Well, he has to find the sticks somehow. Does he know where they are? Has he got his compass out here? He's shrouded in mist. What a fireworks display behind the goals when the try was scored, and he does find it. Heat-seeking missile from the boot, and 6-0 Wakefield lead.
Yeah, nice little try there through the middle part of the field. Really disappointing for the middle unit of Leigh. I mentioned they give away that penalty, and they just lose sight of the man, and it's wonderful feat. And the big Samoan international, Max Jowett, converts, registered 1,000 points for Wakefield in his last appearance. And there's 1,002 for him.
We talk about Tavanga's first try for Wakefield. It looked like he's been doing that all season. It just looked like a play that was very natural for Wakefield. And 6-0 they lead. And a question now for Leigh: how do they respond? They'll be used to all the pyrotechnics. We see plenty of that, of course, at Leigh Sports Village. Smoothie, again operating out of that dummy half position and trying to get his troops moving down that left flank. Leigh trying to do a job, keep their opponents penned. Tavanga got a great ball away as well. He went in that with intention, didn't he? And he executed superbly. Sinfield smashed just short of the halfway line. Here comes Vanga now. Likewise, he's trying to get arms free, but Tessinu comes in late just to try and knock him off his balance. Truman. It's one for O'Brien to try and deal with, and he does. Simple enough. But a very efficient chase there. Sees Leigh start, what, 15 from their own line.
Yeah, again, and it's a kick into that right-hand corner. And his senior, met by Smoothie, Rodwell, McMeekin. Can't make any further ground forward. Here comes Charnley.
Chasing the dream of Super League's top scorer. He's still 10 away. Ryan Hall, the perpetual leader, it seems. He's here tonight as well, Ryan. Watching on from the stands. Little ragged effort, but the ball's been stolen. Yep. It suddenly popped up, didn't it? And I think it was too juicy a morsel not to grab away.
Well, Truman just goes and shuts the play down from Owen Trout. Tavanga comes in, pulls him from behind, and he looks like he just lets go of that ball there, Dave.
There is Ryan Hall, watching on from the sidelines tonight. He'll be very much a part, I'm sure, of that big 30th celebration next week. Leeds against Warrington on Sunday, one of 7 games, of course, as we bring you every week. But that is the game. Warrington-Leeds is at Leeds-Warrington from the original fixture list 30 years ago. McNamara, Liu, Lamb, O'Brien with a dummy, but he's watched all the way by Cam Scott. New, stepping effort from Halton, pushing his side ever closer. This is encouraging here from the Leopards' point of view. Liu. Nice step away from Cook, but he's thrown it straight into the hands of the eager Tom Johnston. Frustration. Wakefield have it back and a chance to move with Menace from deep inside their own half.
Adam Cook there with a poor pass over the top. Truman creates the space for him. He tries to rush forward. The ball over the top has to be, if you're going to throw it that far, you have to nail it. Tries to come up with a worldie. Tom Johnston just picks it out.
That's McMeekin. This is Smoothie. Rapidly on again. Truman with a pass away, but closed down quickly. Nakatima looks like he might be hurting a little. The kick is from Sinfield. O'Brien again in good position. Looks to run it back and finds again that Wakefield line moving up with great honesty.
Yeah, 16 minutes gone, Dave, and I really like what Wakefield have done. You know, when they've had the ball in the hand, they haven't done anything particularly flash. They've ended the sets well, completed high, and just really challenging Leigh to come out of difficult positions in difficult areas of the field.
Halton again, he's done well. He's done very well. Out of one tackle, gets another 5 or 6 yards further forward, and suddenly gives Leigh a bit of a front foot to work off here. O'Brien is involved. It's with Hughes, and that less than familiar position in the centres, though he has played there before in that long career of his. But needs must tonight. It's the last. Cook off the left foot. It's been watched down, it's been chased well. And there's a cry for maybe that was a little rougher than it needed to have been for the Wakefield fans, but referee's fine with how it sorted itself out. And this is a stepping up of intensity here from the Leigh defenders.
Yeah, they need to as well. Then McNamara going hunting on this occasion. It's almost 3 players gone. Wakefield struggling for field position. Cam Scott.
Well, it's the best defensive effort so far from Leigh tonight, restricting the metres to the point where Wakefield now, still not beyond their own 40, have to kick through Sinfield looking for distance, and the reward for Leigh is that they should be back in a very decent starting position.
Yeah, just the last couple of minutes, Leigh just starting to get a feel into this game. Tavangagon looking again. Good footwork there from New offload.
Tessie New with the offload, done well again. Cook now to that right-hand side. Charlie searching back towards the middle. Here comes an effort from Mulhern. McNamara. This is slow. It's with Liu. Into the guts of it. Then out to Lamb. Lamb across, but no further for Holton. They quickly jumped into numbers on this left-hand side, and then Lamb switches it back to that right-hand side, trying to just bamboozle this Wakefield defence and stretching them. And here comes Hughes, and Hughes will go himself, and he's got over the line. Well, that was clever stuff from Leigh. Switched it left smartly, switched it right rapidly. Referee doesn't think he's scored.
Liam, it is tackle 4. We've got like Column, no try.
No try on the field.
Just confirming the ball's held up, please.
Well, you heard it from the referee, so let's hear what the video referee thinks of all of this.
Okay, the lab decision is no try, so we're just reviewing the grounding. So does the ball ever get to the ground? So this angle, we can always see the ball. Always see the ball. You can see the ball is on the leg at that point. The ball is on the leg. The ball is always up. I can see the ball. The apex of the ball is always wrapped up. I've seen enough there. I've made my decision.
Well, referee and video referee and technology working in unison. Referee rather suspected it was no try, and the technology has proven that it is no try. And Leigh denied, but encouraging that they got to where they got.
Yeah, for sure, Dave, but Tom Johnston comes up with an incredible play. We all know his try-scoring capabilities, 101 tries in 144 games for Wakefield. But it's this part of his game. It's the upper body strength there to keep that ball up. Great work there from the winger. Truman coming in on top just to make sure that that ball doesn't get down. Really pleasing for Coach Powell.
Well, they still have opportunity. They're on the last. Cook spinning it up there into that melee of defenders and attackers. It came forward off a Leigh hand, I think you might just have picked up from referee Chris Kendall. So all comes to naught in the end, Wakefield getting back.
Yeah, they've had 2 sets to defend on the line in the opening 19 minutes, and Leigh have tested them moving the ball pretty well.
Hang on. Not quite as clear-cut as we thought.
Captain's challenge. Leigh challenging the decision of a knock-on.
Leigh challenging that knock-on, so let's hear from the video referee again here, Liam Moore.
Okay, we have a captain's challenge. Leigh challenging the on-field decision of a knock-on, so let's just see. It's a fair contest. Both sets of hands are up for the ball. So both hands are very close to the ball at this point. So can we see whose hands it actually touches? So both hands are up. I'll just have a look at any alternative angles to see, give me a better shot. Yeah, so you can see both hands there. So is that Holton's hand? I'll work through the angles again. Can we see if it comes off on this one? So I'm going to go back to the original camera I had. So you can see both players are going towards the ball, and you can see it hits hits the Leigh man's hand and then goes forward in relation to the ground. So if it does touch the Wakefield man, it's backwards anyway, and it definitely touches the Leigh man and goes forward. Therefore, the challenge is unsuccessful.
Well, there you go. They've lost their challenge now. 20 minutes into the game, unsuccessful. Well, they were clearly confident there.
They thought there was
to throw the dice.
Yeah. It matters not anymore. The challenge is gone.
So a chance for Wakefield to clear their lines again. Plenty coming up. I think tonight's the 60th game of Rugby League you'll have been able to watch on Sky Sports this season. My goodness, what a feast, and plenty more to come. The big celebrations next weekend, of course, but before all of that, lots to watch, including that Catalan Hull KR game. Hull FC against Leeds on Sunday afternoon as well. And don't forget the bench, by the way, the bench podcast. And this week's special guest, Matt Ellis, which will be, I'm sure, a fascinating listen. Leigh working hard from inside their own half again. Charmley just run up by Tavanga. Trout. Here's McNamara. He's got Mulhern for company, but he's not making too many steps before three are in to dump him to the ground. So they're struggling to make some yards here, but on that right hand, that looked a little suspiciously forward maybe, but it's allowed to play on as Alec Winkeeker's galloping through. McNamara goes right, Cook goes high off the boot, and it's Jowett who's underneath it to take it safely for Wakefield again.
That's another good set with ball in hand from the Leopards, Dave. A line break leading up to that kick. An opportunity to assert themselves now here. Go forward, big contact, really restrict Wakefield.
Some tough work going on at the moment from both sides' point of view. Plenty of physicality. On a big night, I mean, we're only early. Only 5 weeks of the Super League season this weekend, but my goodness, there's already a bit of jitteriness and nervousness amongst clubs who've not quite got the start they would have hoped for. Truman's kick, jags around, O'Brien safely collects, Senior comes rushing back and meets the shoulder of Wangener.
Wangener over 40 tackles a game he averages so far. There's only Joe Shorrocks and Joe Mallow who's made more, but Tessie New slips.
That is a very decent carry, isn't it, from Tessie New, and again on the back of that, I think Lachlan Lamb was hoping for another set of 6 to go in his side's favour there as he scampered out at dummy half. The referee didn't see it that way. Trout gets the arms free, plays it. McNamara goes back to the middle. Cook now to Lamb again, who's gone over to that right-hand side again. That looked a little forward, maybe. Lamb picks it up off the bounce, the kick, and the chase is on, but Johnston is the swiftest of heels to get back there. Wakefield survive.
Yeah, well, Lachlan Lamb just punches the floor in frustration. I think he wanted a penalty there, Dave.
Not completed tackle. Truman's able to pick up and carry on.
I can't believe he was taken out off that ball as he puts the boot through it, rolls that kick in. Hamlin Llewellyn gets to the 40.
Rolling the interchanges. Tavanga and Sinfield, and drops it for Wangener to come crashing back. Here's Smoothie. This now is Sinfield, looking to keep it tight to that corner. O'Brien on the catch will seek the middle ground, but finds again the advancing shoulder of Jowett. Here's New. Reminder, a little earlier today, a little earlier this evening, you might have seen it. Toulouse 16, St Helens 30. Decent fight back from Toulouse in the second half, but St Helens very much in control. And Bradford 0, Huddersfield 2 is a latest score. Very early, but Huddersfield seeking their first win, and you made a point before.
Yeah, there's only 20 points difference in terms of for and against, and if Leigh were to go down here tonight and Huddersfield were to win by 10 or more, you would think that the Leigh Leopards would find themselves at the bottom of the Super League table.
Which would have been unthinkable, wouldn't it, at the start of the season? But again, we underline, it is so early. Can't draw too many conclusions at this stage.
Really, it's been difficult for those teams. You know, you think Huddersfield, St Helens in there as well, all with huge number of injuries. Just quite haven't got it going. Huddersfield or Leigh. From Johnstone on his 200th appearance with a quick play of the ball. Here they come.
It's been a freakish start of the season, hasn't it? Myers now will take it another yard or two. Smoothie dashing across. Tavanga looking at who he's got. Truman. Jowett's getting involved, and so too is Pratt. Well, everybody's claiming for something here. The referee simply says play on. Truman now goes on a more difficult route than he might have hoped for. It's hoisted high by Johnstone, and the kick, well, it's well taken in the end, but my goodness, O'Brien had to get there, and there was every threat of that being dangerous.
Well, there was one thing I don't think Fartilli was going to out-jump O'Brien there. He just waits for the fullback to collect the ball and then just whacks him. Again, Wakefield finishing their sets positively.
Charlie putting on some of the tough stuff. There's Matt Davis, another returning from a recent injury. I don't think that was an intended offload, it just spun away, but it has gone backwards. So Leigh prosper. McNamara. Lachlan Lamb.
It's a good kick.
It's an awkward bounce. Myers has to take it on the shins. Sinfield. Scott striding at pace. Smoothie has to go searching for the ball, and the referee says he shouldn't have had to do that. Davis in the way, so a penalty for Wakefield, which is a big moment here, isn't it? Because this should advance Wakefield by a considerable distance.
Yeah, but it's a smart carry from Cam Scott. He picks out two weak defenders, Ben McNamara and Matt Davis, and just gets in between them. Low-level tackle, quick play of the ball, wanted and needed. Cam Scott gets it, the penalty's given away.
So what can Wakefield build from here as Fartilli goes crashing in? There's the stats so far. You can see Wakefield very much shading it in terms of possession of the ball. Everything else is similar. Truman. Pitts. He's a good man to bring on, isn't he? Just adds something a little extra for Wakefield down the middle. Sinfield for Truman, and Jowett made a run which might have caught the defender's eye and given Myers maybe enough room to get in at the corner. The referee's having a look. It was a spectacular effort, and it's rewarded with a point of the finger. Jaden Myers with the try. It was a wonderful finish.
Jaden Myers, I really like this kid. He scores in the corner. Just
they're checking this, aren't they? They will be checking this. Well, the referee's given the try, but they always check in the background just to make sure. Now, is there just a little bit of a hint of a foot in touch here? Oh, has he got it? Yeah, referee's now been instructed by the video referee to make this official.
Have a live review. Checking touchline, please.
We're having a look at this again through the microscopic lens of the video referee.
OK, I've cleared everything up to this point, so we're just looking at the grounding and the touchline. Now we can see he's in possession of the ball at this point, he's in possession of the ball, but his foot is on the line there before the ball is grounded. So it is no try.
Well, there you go, no try. Very, very close. I think Ben Jones-Bishop had something similar last night, didn't he, for York? against Wigan, and tonight Jaden Myers is just denied, but good effort, but no cigar at the end of it.
No cigar at the end of it. It's wonderful recovery play there from the left edge as well. Finest of margins. Myers' chance has gone begging in his senior, double defending, and uses the sideline as his friend.
Puff of the cheeks, he'll have seen that on the big screen. I was that close. Didn't stop the fireworks going off, by the way. We got the fireworks going. The whole commentary box shakes when they go off, but it was all in vain. And it remains at 6-0. 12 minutes of this first half remaining. That's a good effort from the Wakefield defence.
That's great defending, isn't it? Dominating Trout.
Davis just carting it in. Leigh just looking for an escape clause here to get themselves out of this difficult situation just at the moment. Davis is going to be involved again here. That's the 5th. So expect the kick here. Lamb's moved to this left-hand side again, tight to the touchline, but it's hoisted up there rather than a search for a 40-20. It's caught by Jowett, and Jowett looking to get things moving again. Johnston with a big push. Truman. Big reach by Sinfield. Here comes Scott. Again, there are appeals, and the referee, a shade of hesitation, gives a penalty Wakefield's way.
There's Matt Davis again. This time he goes high on Cam Scott. He went low on him last time and gave away a penalty for too long and messing around, and then he catches one around the chops of Cam Scott.
Well, they're just building a little bit of pressure here, aren't they, Wakefield? Again, there's 2 balls on the field.
Being patient, though, aren't they? They seem to have had a lot of good field position. They just have lacked any sort of punch on the end of it so far.
That's good from Vanganar. Smoothies in there, another set of 6. So effectively a 7 tackle count here. And they're finding themselves getting closer and closer. What can they do from here? Plenty of tackles in the bag again. Sinfield puts on the dummy. Lamb gets up top and makes the tackle. And it was high, so it'll be a penalty.
It seemed to take a long time for Chris Kendall to give that away. Lamb looking frustrated. Catches him high there. I thought Chris Kendall would have spotted that one.
A little bit of a talking to for Lachlan Lamb, no more than that, and they've elected to kick for goal here. Have Wakefield. Well, that's a reflection of the kind of game it's been so far.
I mentioned they've had to be really patient, Wakefield. Again, they've been down here and I think they've had the lion's share of it. They just haven't been able to really have any punch on the end of it to get over. Jaden Myers denied, of course, in the corner. It was brilliant defence from Innis Senior. But 8 points is maybe just a sign of what Wakefield players are thinking in terms of how they see this game going. Points on offer, take them.
Well, as you mentioned, he's such a prolific point scorer, isn't he? Max Jowett. This, if he puts this over, will be his 20th goal of the season, and bear in mind he has missed the last couple of games. A settler, big deep breath, an eye on a target that he knows very well, a swing of the right boots, and it's just about as perfect as it can be.
Cool as you like. Max Jowett adds the extras. It's 8-0. Leigh Leopards, of course, they have the capability to be able to register a score before half-time, no doubt about it. They're going to have to work a little bit harder in terms of front-loading their defence, their energy, defensively. Because Wakefield have been able to get out of their own end fairly comfortably.
Bradford have equalised. It is rugby league they're playing. It's not a football game. 2-2. 2-2, and they're at a similar stage, I think, that we are as well. So that sounds gritty.
Whoa.
Fatili's lost it, and suddenly Leigh offered a great opportunity here. Isaac Leigh pulls it in.
Yeah, great shot from Kais Fatili, and it needed to be as well. 6 again called here, 8 metres away, Dave.
Liam Horn in at dummy half, and Robbie Mulhern will drive it in. Horn's there again. Liu to his left. It's behind him, though, to Lamb. In on the angle comes Holton. Bouncing into some bruising collisions. Horn once more. It's Cook this time. Pumps it wide. O'Brien with a dummy. Goes for the line. And a celebration amongst those Leigh players on the field. And this time the referee backs back and points the finger. It is a Leigh try. What a quick response.
Well, I did say just before the restart was about to happen, there's a little bit of afters here. Gareth O'Brien gets an important score in the context of this game, that this Leigh outfit were capable of scoring points if they were able to get down towards that end of the field. There's Kais Fatili straight away off the kickoff. Wonderful contact, great shot. Dislodges the ball. And Gareth O'Brien is able to slide over. And here he comes from here. Liam Horn it was in there. Beautiful left shoulder contact. The Leopards, they play on. There's no line speed from A and B. Hamlin Llewellyn, Seth Nicotimo just not getting forward high enough, Dave. There's no more land behind you. They get up 2 metres. And the left edge gets far further forward. Gareth O'Brien's able to roll that ball, get on the inside shoulder. Nicotimo should be there next to his half-back. He's not. And the space is there for Gareth O'Brien to score.
Well, again, they are checking this on the grounding, and the referee's given the try. New rules, of course. Referee's given the try. I think that is quite clear evidence, isn't it, that it was... Well, he's applauding. He's happy.
Yeah, he's disappointed.
Try is confirmed now, by the way.
I was going to say, it's disappointing if you're watching that through Daryl Powell's eyes. Hamlin Llewellyn, Seth Nicotimo just don't work hard enough underneath that ball. And you can't put it down to fatigue, Dave, because they've just had 2 minutes rest before the kick-off.
O'Brien's first of the season, by the way. And Cook with a kick that goes wide. So 8 points to 4. But Leigh have figured on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. And it remains tight.
There's Liam Horn, signed on a 3-year deal from Castleford Tigers, now a Leopard. Comes up with a great shot. And the ball out the back from Cook. O'Brien, he sees the space, he sees that middle unit not working hard enough. And with pieces on the outside, he's able just to do enough to roll that ball over and score. 8-4.
Here's the restart, game very much still in the balance. A bouncing effort from Mulhern.
What? Jaden Myers there on the front rower. Stops him dead.
Watson again is going backwards a little, having hit that defensive line. Pick up by Horn.
Myers has come off second best there. He's holding his right elbow.
Davis was the dummy runner. Lamb's in behind him, skipping out to Cook, and now O'Brien offering it back on the inside again, and Hughes. He's not happy with life at the moment, is he, Jaden Myers? But meantime, the game carries on, and Leigh find themselves, albeit on the last tackle, inside the Wakefield half. Cook again will stick it up there. It's being chased by winger and centre, but it's caught by the opposition fullback Max Jowett, who does well.
Yeah, brilliant chase there from Jack Hughes and Josh Charney. It was a sprint down there, and they get the ball
Johnson's
back
lost it. Johnson's lost it. Referee says play on, and Leigh again suddenly gifted a position. Can they take advantage of this again? Lamb helps it on its way. New spinning out, almost regaining his balance, does regain his balance, and then loses the ball. Well, they've no challenge. They've no challenge to this, so the referee's decision stands.
Oh, big play in the moment in this game. Tessie New, Sinfield, he makes a play for that, Dave. He makes a play for that. The Leopards might feel they had the pocket pinched. Tom Johnson coming up with the error. That right arm just there. Big moment.
Yeah, they were full of fuel and full of self-belief there, weren't they, Leigh? But suddenly they're denied the ball, and Wakefield with a chance for themselves to build again from deep inside their own half.
Nervy couple of minutes here if you're a Wakefield supporter. They just want the half-time, and that'll help. Jacob Alec. Again, it's another penalty in yardage that the Leigh Leopards have come up with a few times. They need to sort that out.
Well, the kick is pretty good as well, isn't it?
Yeah, discipline costing them at the moment. That's the fourth penalty they've conceded. But it's where the penalties have been conceded, Dave, that's the problem.
Smoothie. Pitts. And here's Sinfield, and that was a good read by New, but it was a good piece of evasion as well from Jowett.
Jowett rides it well. Pitts with an inside shape ball there for Vangana.
Smoothie again. Truman trying to make things happen. Sinfield, who's very busy in this game, with a good ball away and a kick towards the touchline and the corner flag, and O'Brien could just calmly, well, O'Brien kind of swayed back in. Did the ball just hit the line? Well, it's an awkward one, and yeah, just hits the whitewash.
A little push there from Charnley, yeah. Dave, that's what I was thinking. And Sinfield gets away with one earlier, maybe Charnley's just cancelled that one out.
2 minutes of a fascinating half to go. He's plenty of food for thought, hasn't he, Darryl Powell? This is Horn. Tissignou. Horn again. Lamb on the reach, has done very well to keep that ball going as well, and Cook now with O'Brien stepping off the right foot. Lamb again, and New, and using his strength and his step, and Lamb once more throws it back to the middle to find Cook. An advancing Wakefield line. The pass is dreadful. Charnley picks it up. Now he tries to find the gap. They've only one play to go. Lamb closing in quickly was Fartilli, but Lamb still gets it away. Jowett with the take. It's a dangerous looking ball.
You don't need to be doing that, Dave, not with 40 seconds left on the clock.
Just a little floater to keep the Leigh players interested. Scott. How many plays to go? Still plenty. Myers going nowhere. Smoothie again. Pitts. And now Truman. And there's shape here. And there's a bit of pace here as well. Pratt with a step. But his hips are caught. And he's going no further. Probably the last play we're watching here of this first half. Truman, Fartilli, flicks, Smoothie, thought about the kick. Nobody was really in chasing mode on that right-hand side, so they go left. And this is looking interesting. It's kept alive, a little skip back towards the middle. But Johnston is going to run into the treacle that is for Leigh defenders. Just gets a bit heated as well here. But that will be that, and sure.
It's twice it's threatened to boil over, right there on the hooter.
Well, there might be a penalty on the back of this, or is the referee happy just to blow the whistle and get them off the field? I think the latter. That will be it. Well, fascinating first half. Wakefield jumping into that 8-0 lead, but Adrian Lamb will be very chuffed with the fact that his side have found a way back. Jowett with a couple of goals, and those have proven the difference between these two sides at half-time. Wakefield leading Leigh by 8 points to 4.
Dave Kyle, thank you very much. Quick reminder, Wakefield chasing their 3rd win of the season. Leigh looking for just their 2nd victory of the Betfred Super League season in 2026. And after Jazz Tavanga got Wakefield up and running, it looked like it would be an ominous sign for what was to come for the Leigh Leopards, but they fought their way back in. We have got a game at the DIY Kitchen Stadium. Plenty to discuss with John Wilkin and Jamie Jones Buchanan after this. Well, I'm sure at times this week, Michael Maguire, the Brisbane Broncos coach, found himself in what he thought was the eye of the storm as they look for their 1st win of the season. They have claimed it. The grand final rematch against the Melbourne Storm. We'll continue our NRL coverage tomorrow with the Rabbitohs against the Tigers. 8:30 a.m. Sky Sports action, same channel next Friday for the big Queensland derby between the Bronx and the Dolphins. That's at 9 a.m. Saturday, doubleheader. The Panthers, Eels and the Cowboys, Tigers all gets underway at 6:30 a.m. Let's take you over to Oddsall, where the Bradford Bulls are in action against the Huddersfield Giants tonight. A game you can also watch with us live on Sky Sports. After swapping penalties at 2 apiece, this has given Bradford a lead. Luke Hooley's 2nd penalty of the night. Both teams have had tries chalked off by the video referee. Just 2 points between them. Remember, the Giants chasing a 1st win of the season. Bradford unbeaten so far at Oddsall. Well, it was all going the way of Wakefield early in this one as they've stormed into an 8-0 lead, but Leigh have hit back through Gareth O'Brien's try, just 4 between them at half-time. We do have a game going into the 2nd half. Fair to say, Jamie Jones Buchanan, this understrength Leigh side have given a good account of themselves.
Yeah, Leigh are known for their resilience, aren't they? And I think they've shown that, and it goes to show when you make an error close to your own line in terms of vitality there, then opportunities present themselves. But I think it's gone to script as well for Wakefield. They've kicked well, chased hard, they've been really good in defence, and have held Leigh, who haven't made many metres after contact this season, to where they wanted them to be. But ultimately, I think it's been the penalties that have undone Leigh in moments as well.
Darryl maybe have expected a tight game, certainly a tight first 40 minutes. What will he have seen in the first 40 that he'll be happy with?
Yeah, well, I think from his message in pre-game, he wanted a direct, brutal game from his team, and I think there was some evidence of that, which we actually saw in the opening try from Tavanga, of just playing direct, about hitting leads. I love this try from Tavanga. Just near the line, it's really subtle late movement. It might look like poor defence from Isaac Leigh. I'm telling you what, this is fantastic. Just watch, he's eyeballing into the ruck there, and his late footwork here just drifts to the outside of Leigh. That's really smart. He was imperious against Leeds Rhinos in the Cup last week. He dominated the game, and it was ominous signs 11 minutes in that he'd been so dominant. But it wasn't just that impressed me about some of Wakefield's start. It was this, dictating with your defence. You know, how important is that, Jim?
Yeah, it's very important, and be able to win it with some control as well. Get numbers in there, and they're taking the time down the floor, and just some leg drive, and it's difficult when you get dominated like that. This is a sport, rugby league, where you don't want to get dominated. You see Darryl Powell clapping. That's exactly what they've worked on all week.
Just if you would, for people at home, just run through again what Isaac Leigh was faced with and why he got so cut out. So he sees Jazz Tavanga in front of him.
Yeah.
He eyes up, he thinks he's going to have to make a tackle with a particular shoulder. Well, that doesn't turn out to be the case.
As all great players do, you tell lies with your body language, don't you? He told a lie with his eyes looking in. His body language is, I'm angling in, and as the ball's in the air, he does what like maybe great centres like a Matt Gidley would have done back in the day. He changes his line. As a defender, when you're transfixed on a guy's body language, taking your inside shoulder, and he drifts to your outside shoulder on the pass, the natural tendency is to look in at the ball. As soon as Leigh does that, Tavanga spots it and bounces to his outside. Class.
Yeah, swivel heads. Brian McDermott was talking about swivel heads, didn't he? Making sure you're looking at both and your head's on a bit of a swivel. He just got caught looking in and didn't see him sneaking out.
Well, there was no swivel hips from Liam Horn as he belted Caius Fatili as he ran the ball off his own line to dislodge it. I mean, this is a great contact, and this is what Darryl has identified in Leigh last year.
Yeah, without doubt, it's just taking the competition to a strong ball carrier. It's a poor error from Fatili, and I think this is what frustrates Darryl Powell actually, is that he can be physically dominant in a game, one error like that, and then Gareth O'Brien ices a play on the end. He does incredibly well to get that down under all sorts of pressure. Smart, tight passing play, and this angle just as we slow it down, shows O'Brien just manages to dot the ball down. Video referee having a good look at that. No doubt he gets it down. But a costly error from Fertilio. What would be a half that I think Darryl Powell would be pleased with in the main.
Well, now remember, Darryl, after that cup win over Leeds, he said he hopes that provides a spark for the season. He admitted in the first 4 rounds, you hadn't seen the best of Wakefield. They were very good in the victory over Leeds. What will it tell you if they end up losing this game tonight from a winning position at half-time?
Well, he talks about consistency, doesn't he, from some of his players, and he wants to see that, and I think he's had a lot of it. They've had some really nice try-saving moments and working exceptionally hard for each other. Just that those bits, like you're saying, with ball control, making sure you get to end of your sets and complete.
Yeah. If you're Adrian Lamb, you say, do what?
Oh, just don't concede penalties. Kyle Amor mentioned it in commentary a number of times. 5 penalties conceded for Leigh, not just conceded, but the parts of the field they conceded, those tries, that discipline and ill-discipline is probably the reason that Leigh are behind at half-time. But it's a big second half underway. It's a great half-time, isn't it? It's a real test of coaching in there now. Is what's the messaging? Be fascinated to be in both of those dressing rooms and listen to how those coaches are translating what they want in this second half.
The boys both tipped Wakefield pre-game. Leigh have not, though, gone away in this one. 40 more minutes for them to drag themselves back in and secure maybe just their second win of the season. The DIY Kitson Stadium, well, it's been electric inside here. We've only had the 2 tries. There could have been so much more. Video referee chalking off a few. Second 40 for this round 5 fixture on the way here on Sky Sports after this. The only constant in life is change. Change can mean opportunity. It can mean growth. But in an ever-evolving world, sometimes you just need a place called home when everything else is changing. And what a brilliant 30 years it has been here on Sky Sports. We brought you every season of the Super League. We'll celebrate it all in the company of some very special guests, some Super League icons. Next Sunday, as we Leeds take on the Warrington Wolves. That, of course, was one of the original fixtures for the first round of Super League back in 1996. Make sure you join us. Note the start time, 4:30 p.m, Sky Sports action. That, of course, is round 6 of the Betfred Super League. We are in round 5 at the moment. 3 fixtures coming up for you this weekend on Sky. Warrington, Castleford, Catalan, Hull KR tomorrow, and Sunday the curtain comes down on round 5 with Hull FC taking on Leeds 5-3. Sky Sports Plus, like the other 2 games for that one. Let's get straight over to Jenna, tunnel side for halftime team news. Jenna.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Darryl Powell said that he wants his players to finish their tackles. He said he felt that they were a little bit negative out there in that first half. He's asked for them to be more positive this second half. Adrian Lamb, he mentioned one word, discipline. That area they must fix up. He said the penalty count at the minute is 7-1, so that is the main focus in this second half. But it is 8-4. Over to you, Dave.
Thank you, Jenna. Looking forward to this because, you know, there's so much of a mood to be set by one of these 2 teams going forward tonight. Leigh scrapping back from 8-0 down to get it to 8-4, but opportunity knocks for either one of these to lay a platform for what comes ahead as Fertilli leads the drive. But there's a bit of intent. 5-man Leigh tackle, pushing him back a good 5 years, like pushing a sled, wasn't it? But Wakefield looking wide and looking for an opportunity to break their opponents down. Ollie Pratt chopped to the ground. And Wakefield start from here with Leigh very much intent on keeping them here. What are you expecting from this second half, Kyle?
Yeah, just pretty much exactly what there was in the first. You know, both sides trying to work through the middle of the field, trying to dominate one another. And of course, for Wakefield, they've got an opportunity here, looking to move the ball to the right-hand side. Sinfield with a drop of the shoulder.
A little bit of a skip, but no further. They've hit the last play. They've carried it to within 40 of their opponents' half. Truman with a juggle, which doesn't help things. And Fertilli, now that's the reason he doesn't kick very often, but it might still have repercussions here because the chase is on for the corner. The ball's been lost and left behind, and Jaden Myers scores the unlikeliest try you will see this season. And let history recall, it started with a kick from Caius Fertilli. Give him the ball every day of the week.
Oh, goodness me. Big smiles there from the big fella. And the kick, it falls into the arms of Fertilli on last. He puts a kick up. It wasn't the best, Dave, to be honest. But it's play on. Truman steps back on the inside. Fertilli hooks underneath it. He goes about 5 metres forward, falls in the arms of Smoothie, who just rolls it in behind there. And Leigh, goodness me, Gareth O'Brien needs to be better than that there. A man of his experience.
Maybe there's something in that, the chaos that's created by that kind of a kick. You know, more controlled, Leigh know what's coming at them. Oh, Gareth O'Brien won't enjoy looking back at that, will he?
Myers.
Try provider.
Yeah, Myers denied one in the first half, and just when you thought that the contact on Fertilli as the second half restarted, you thought that the Leopards there, the head was in it. Just unable to deal with a most unordinary end to the set. Jaden Myers scores.
So there's put a bit of fun into the night. Not that Leigh are celebrating the fun at the moment. They'll be stewing behind the lines, wondering how they respond as Max Jowett tries to take that unlikely 4 into the category of being a 6 with a kick from the touchline. It's a good distance out here. He's brought that ball back an awful long way to try and make the angle as big as it possibly can, but he's put it wide, and it remains at 12 points to 4.
Yeah, a bit of fun towards the end of the set, but there is a but. Gareth O'Brien, he has to deal with this. That kick goes in behind in his senior. It just takes a wicked bounce. But your job is to mop that up. You are the last line of defence.
Well, they've responded once, have Leigh, in fine style. They need to do it again, but here comes Fertilli in a more familiar role. But now he's tried an offload and got a Leigh hand on him as well. Everything he touches turns from catastrophe to good fortune.
Well, that's his third restart carry. The first one he loses the ball, the second one he gets dominated and pushed back, and on that occasion he just flings the ball out. Hamlin Llewellyn just straightens up.
All those endless drills that they've done this week in the last couple of plays, nothing like you'd have seen on the training field. But Wakefield advancing. Nicotimo eventually gets to his feet. Across the line it goes. Sinfield drops it back on the inside again as Wakefield try to crash with the shape of Banganar going forward. Smoothie. This will be the last. They're going right again. Sinfield. You see, O'Brien knows what's coming. He knows what's coming, so he's in position to take that safely enough and take it back at the advancing Wakefield line.
It's better for him, isn't it? TCU, difficult ball carrier, isn't he? Often causes his first defenders some trouble.
Senior. Horn out of dummy half. Back it comes to Lamb. He's behind the 40-metre mark, so there's a chase on here for Jowett. The ball is skipping to where Lamb was hoping it would go, and Jowett just about gets there and keeps his balance and turns what could have been a very dangerous situation into one which is far more comfortable.
Yeah, well rescued. He had to be there on time, otherwise that was going to roll over. Wonderful kick from Lamb, who spots the space. Just can't quite execute it. Needed a couple more turns of the ball.
Just firing him out from the back here. Ollie Pratt, the latest to have a go. Smoothie again. Not much on the outside of Nicotimo, so he cuts back towards the middle. Pitts, lovely ball to Fertilli, but it's a forward pass. So, balance just tips a little back towards the Leopards here.
Yeah, just pushing it there, Jay Pitts. It's obvious what he brings. The 36-year-old in his 19th season. Wonderful hands and has the ability to move the ball and create space. He just forces that one. It's a yard forward. Leigh have an opportunity here. It's taken them 5 or 6 minutes. They're going to get a scrum out 40 metres away, centre of the field.
So here's Cook as Leigh look to get their artillery moving forward here. And Jack Hughes with that first carry. So 5 to come, 30 metres to cover. Opportunity for Isaac Liu to just occupy the attention of defenders. It's Horn. Cook again. Little spring back on the inside by Alec Winkie, who's inside that 20 zone. Mulhern still carrying, still pushing. Couple of plays to go here. So Leigh will fancy their chances of putting some pressure on Lamnow and O'Brien, and a big surge from Tessie New, but they've somehow got bodies underneath that again to deny the score.
I'll tell you what, it's another big tackle, isn't it? Cam Scott, you think he's on for all money, but Max Jowett again. We saw one from Tom Johnson earlier on in the piece. Jowett comes up with one this time.
Well, they've got one last play to go here, and O'Brien, it hits boots and it's dropped on, and Wakefield will have possession back again.
Gareth O'Brien just trying to thread the needle there for his left winger in his senior. Trapped and scrapped though by Scott.
Couple of heavy carries. Truman back on the inside to Johnston. Was that a little high from Cook? No, the referee pats his chest. I think we picked that up off his microphone. Referee patting his mic. Now it's with Pitts. 4 of them dancing him around. Quickly off his knees. Sinfield just pumping that towards a bit of green grass, but Charlie's got there quickly to take it on the full. And a push back from him.
He's going to win a penalty here, Dave, yeah. Josh Charnley's so good at that, isn't he? First of all, you've got to deal with the direct carry and the power from him. But his strength on the floor is just making it awkward for Pratt and Smoothie to clear the ruck. And the fight wins his side a penalty.
He's in out 257 Super League tries for Josh Charnley.
10 behind Ryan Hall, all equal, and that man.
267 for Ryan.
All-time top try scorer in Super League, Ryan Hall.
But, I mean, with philosophical debate, but if you add Ryan Hall's Challenge Cup and international tries, he's miles ahead of anybody. But that's just Super League. That's just in the Super League. Here's Liam Hall, who's just inside the Wakefield half. O'Brien, and now Hughes. Well, they're advancing with menace here, Leigh. Decent position they find themselves in. Tilly grabbing a hold of Isaac Liu. Liam Horn getting more used to life at Leigh. Oh, it's a hand from Johnston, which means it's another set. Charlie's dropped it. The referee says play on. Then he blows his whistle. Then he doesn't. And then Johnston's looking around, utterly perplexed. Do I go? Do I stop? He's being urged to go, and he's gone, and he's scored. And then the referee brings it back for a knock-on.
What was the point of that?
Tom John, it's a good job Johnston didn't pull a hamstring in that, isn't it?
Well, he comes off his left arm there. It's a ball and all tackle on Jacob Alec, and it has to be as well. But it was a clear and obvious. I mean, between him and the linesman, who stood about 5 metres away. You're right, Dave. On a serious note, if Johnson was to pull a hamstring there, then goodness me, but it matters not.
Well, nobody had any idea what was going on there. The referee had a whistle in his mouth, and everyone was looking at it, waiting for him to blow it. and then suddenly started waving his hands. Play on.
He nearly blew it 3 times. He had it to his lip, away.
Head in, Jake.
Anyway, no celebrations, no fireworks going off. It's a scrum and Leigh. And now we've not got a ball. Well, if you look 90 yards down the field, it's in the in-goal area where it's been touched down.
Okay, let's go back down. Heads in, stand side.
Real opportunity here though for Leigh now, Dave.
Back to sanity, hopefully. Lamb. That's nice. And O'Brien's chiming in.
Line. Line, Jay. Line.
He's in there. It's back with Lamb. Here's Holton.
Movement now. 2.
Horn.
Nice and quick.
Liu looking for the direct path. Finding plenty of resolve amongst those Trinity defenders.
6 again.
Another set of 6 for Leigh, and Horn seeks an invitation to run at the line. He's just about held up.
6 again.
Another set of 6. Lamb, quick hands, ball goes to ground, Wakefield have it back, and the referee says penalty for offside. Goes Leigh's way.
Well, Lachlan Lamb gets away with one there. Because by his standards, it was a really poor pass out the back, and Sinfield was offside. And Wakefield at the moment are just inviting this Leigh Leopard side to pounce here.
Tap and go, big set this, big period in the game, isn't it? Davis down, and up, and Horn, and Lamb, and throws it, and Cook steps away from a defensive line that was rushing at him. Good work from Wakefield.
Yeah, great defence there from the left edge.
Cook again.
What's your timing, KH?
It's Liu who's invited to run.
Open square, 3. Line.
It's Horn who's in there at dummy half again. Cook. Lamb, they've got numbers on that left-hand side if they can, and they can deliver, and Senior with a stretch. But again, the defence is over superbly, and not for the first time tonight. Max Jowett looks as though he has stopped a try from being scored.
Yeah, it was a desperate tackle, and it really had to be once again. We saw Max Jowett manage to hold Tessinyu up earlier, and he just does enough there. Senior, he's going to get that ball down if Jowett isn't there. Brilliant full-back play. It's 3 times now that Wakefield have denied the Leopards a try-scoring opportunity.
But there's some work to be done here on both sides of the ball. Leigh defenders coming in quickly. Wakefield needing to chew up the yards as quickly and as effectively as they can. Penalty,
that's not going to help. And once again, it's a penalty. It's where they've given it away, though, Dave. That's the part that's really, really hurting Adrian Lamb's side. I was just about to say, you know, with 25 minutes left in this game, it might sound a bit premature saying it, but you do get a sense that the next score is a huge one.
What was it that Jenna was telling us at half-time? One word, discipline from Adrian Lamb. Well, he'll, as you say, disappointed with what he's watched there. Letting Wakefield off lightly.
Just relieves the pressure, doesn't it? You know, Leigh had them in a really vulnerable opportunity. Another forward pass for sure.
Yeah.
Jay Pitts. Gifted Leigh again.
It was a mile forward, wasn't it?
And almost imploding here. That's poor from Pitts. One you can forgive, but twice coming out of yardage. He's better than that, and he knows it.
Did you play with him here all those years ago? Was he here when you were here?
No.
No.
Leeds.
Shot clock's off, boys.
At Leeds.
At Leeds.
You play with him at Leeds, of course, yes. Not that anybody's bothered.
No.
Something to say while we wait for the scrum.
Just come forward, wait for you guys to step back. Come forward.
That's a HIA there, Caleb Hamlin Ueli. That's what he's going off for.
His 50th appearance for Wakefield last week, Dave.
Lachlan Lamb feeds the scrum. Horn brings it out, and suddenly Leigh have got a platform, a gum shield trigger, we're being told. The new gum shields that the players are all wearing. That's what's forced Caleb Hamlin Ueli to go off for that HIA. Technology at work for the protection of the players. There's Louis Brogan off the interchange bench. Liam Horn running out again. Cook now. Got numbers here. Lamb's lively. And a step back in from Alec Wenke, but sandwiched between a couple of meaty Wakefield defenders. Davis now angles back past a couple again. They're sprawling on the floor. He's searching all over. Oh! There's no going past that, is there?
Oh, Van Ganar folding him like a deck chair.
It's with Lamb and Cook and New. It stops there and comes back towards the middle. Oh, and New has found a little bit of a room to which to run. He tried the kick, but Sinfield drops on that.
Oh, look, it's not a bad place to turn the ball over, Dave. And you feel that if Leigh can really put something together here, the wind's in the sails at the moment for the Leopards.
Tough task ahead again. Smoothie. Both wingers have had a go now in terms of getting their sides downfield. The latest Myers. Smoothie. Leigh players quickly off there to close things down as smartly as they can. Scott put down. 5 short of the halfway line. 1 play to go for Wakefield. Sinfield out of dummy half. Not a bad option, but O'Brien's there and gets a good little flick off the boot and is able to bring it back and takes it up to the 40. Bradford 4, Huddersfield 8. The latest score. Is this going to be Huddersfield's first win of the season? And then we can watch that Sky Sports Plus if that is your preference. Every single game on Sky Sports. Here's Charnley. Hall. Again, it was asking to be hit hard there, wasn't he? As Nicotimo came crashing in. Alec Wenke will not thank his teammate for the pass. It's now quickly out, and Lamb, and again that advancing Wakefield line has forced a pass that wasn't on.
Oh, it was great work from Van Ganar. Just really putting Brogan under all sorts of pressure to catch him past that ball, and Lamb stretching, gets his left hand to it.
Sorry, Gareth.
Yeah, difficult night for Lachlan Lamb.
And Gareth O'Brien is going off for an HIA as well. One of these a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? But passed in the dressing room, so fingers crossed that he's going to be okay.
There's going to need to be a bit of a reshuffle here. Who's going to slot in at fullback?
So Ben McNamara comes back out onto the field. They've had their issues, haven't they, with fullbacks, Leigh, this season? Not 1, not 2, but 3. That is, if O'Brien isn't able to come back. This is Pratt. Folded up, put down. But 1 tackle gone, and Wakefield find themselves in their opponent's half again. Fartilli.
Lachlan Lamb's dropped to fullback there, Dave.
That takes plenty away, doesn't it? Unless he changes position when they have the ball. But here they come, and this is Jowett, and Jowett, oh! Was there a hand there from Leigh, which has meant that that's a play on? He's going to say no try, but this might be a gift for Myers. We'll see here.
Right, Liam.
Let's hear from the video ref.
Tackle 2. We have a live call of no try. We're just looking, is the ball touched by Wakefield or a Leigh player? Live call is that it's touched by a Wakefield player forwards.
Okay, live decision of no try on field, so we're just looking to see who this ball comes off. I've cleared everything up to this point. So, see, ball is passed back inside. So whose hand does this come off? Is it the Leigh man's hand or the Wakefield man's hand? Anything closer, please? So it's passed by Jowett, we know that. Who does this, if you go nice and slow on this, whose hand does this come off? Yeah, you can see it's the Wakefield's man's hand. And goes forward in relation to the ground. I've made my decision, thank you.
Yeah, really efficient again, wasn't it, from the officials? Yeah. I mean, every reason why that needed to be checked, but the referee, his eyes were clear, and the video referee quickly sorts it out. And we have no try.
No try yet. And he's seen he just does enough to maybe just distract Cam Scott.
It's going to be a scrum.
Spares the blushes of Tessie New, who come a long, long way. And Isaiah Wagner.
Middle.
Max Jowett just slicing through off the offload and just does enough there, maybe senior, to put Scott off. Puff of the cheeks from Jowett. And Darryl Powell knows that if that score had gone over, that might have been enough.
Tight margins on an important night. We still have over a quarter of the game remaining, and there's only 2 scores of difference at the moment. Leigh, as Kyle's suggesting, probably needing to score next.
Yeah, most definitely.
Plenty of NRL tomorrow morning. Rabbitohs against the Tigers, 8:30, and some big games as well in Super League this weekend. Warrington Castleford, 2:55 on air for that, followed by Catalan against Hull Kingston Rovers, back-to-back Rugby League action in the Super League, and then Hull against Leeds on Sunday. So plenty to whet the appetite in terms of live action. And if you want a good listen, then download the podcast, the Bench podcast, every week. Just assign it to whatever gadget you listen to, and it'll drop down automatically on a weekly basis. Meantime, well, they're letting this bounce. I think Myers and Jowett both had a look at each other, but I think it was Myers' ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a decent kick from Adam Cook under pressure.
You might just have noticed that Bradford are in the lead now, 10-8 against Huddersfield. Sinfield. So plenty of tight games already this weekend.
10 metres.
Smoothie. Step by Pratt. Smoothie again. Again, you might have heard the referee beating his chest to indicate that that was on the chest. The kick was a 40-20 attempt, but it's the makeshift fullback Lachlan Lamb who collects. And has done well to take it back to within about 10 of the halfway line.
Yeah, just not enough punch behind the ball there from the left boot of Truman. Man collecting on the full and returning it with interest.
Here's McNamara. Sassignew with a jump in.
20 minutes
still
left.
Pushing.
Yeah.
Horn again. Brogan trying to pick that path. Bruising collisions coming his way. Horn again. Edging closer and closer here. Cook throws it back. Lamb chimes in from fullback. Charnley's on the wing. But there are 3 defenders ready and waiting there. Hopping in towards a touch, but the referee shouted held. This will be the last. Cook sticking it up there. Jowett's got some space to get into. He can't keep a hold of it. And it's Holton who drops on. Well, the referee's clearly saying no try on the field. What are his concerns here?
We have a live call of no try. Just confirming it's lost in the air by Leigh first.
There you heard it. He thinks Leigh lost it in the air first. So let's hear from the video referee again here, Liam Moore.
OK, on-field decision is no try on field. First of all, we're just clearing off the kick, confirming chasers to the left or onside. So I'm happy to play on from this point. So we're looking at the trajectory of the ball in the air. Who does it come off, and what direction does it go? So something close, we'll go. Who does this come off? Whose hand is that? Is that Horn's right hand there? Just looking at the direction that goes. Just confirming whose hand it establishes whose hand it is initially. So you can see that's the right hand of Liam Horn. So all I'm looking at now is the trajectory of the direction of the ball. So it's definitely the right hand. Oh, I can even confirm it on camera 6. So we can see it's definitely Liam Horn's hand, and we can see that then goes forward in the air into the head of Max Jowett. So it goes forward, which constitutes a knock-on. I made my decision.
Well, you heard it explained clearly enough. Here comes the big screen reveal. With the weight, the hope, the expectation, but it's the hope that kills you. No try. We've had more no tries than actual tries tonight, but all ruled out with very good reason.
Yeah, this time Liam Horne's right hand there. The ball rolls forward, hits Jowett in the face. Halton collects, but Wakefield are flirting. Flirting with Leigh Leopards here and inviting them to register a score. Just really need to get through this set here. Into Staunton onto the field.
Well, they're grinding it out. They ground one out against Hull a couple of weeks ago, did Wakefield. The penalty here as well.
Yeah, and again, it's 25 metres away from Wakefield's line. Play two. It's just no need.
Kicked away by Sinfield, so the tap restart will be on the halfway line. Little dodge, and Pitts will take it in. Smoothie, Truman, and now with Rodwell. Ooh, there's a problem there, is there, for Owen Trout, who got up hopping, but he's back in the defensive line. Wakefield with an opportunity here. Rodwell again goes firing in. 10 out, one play to go. Is this one of the big moments of the game? Smoothie slides it in! And there could be a problem here for Cook, because it looked like he grabbed. Possible penalty try, definite penalty you'd think. And is there a card to be produced as well?
It was Jack Hughes, Dave.
Level 5, I've got no try. I've got no penalty try. Live viewings that he's tackled off the ball in a sin bin.
No penalty try, he says. Let's hear what the video referee has to say.
OK, live decision of no try on field. First of all, we're just confirming the chasers are onside from the kick, so we can see the chaser is onside, feet to behind the ball, so we'll have to play on from this point. So now we're looking at the contact. Is there a foul? Is this a foul? Well, yes, it is. You can see it's clearly foul there by Jack Hughes. Now, the only thing I'm looking at now is this a penalty try, or is it a professional foul and a sin bin for preventing a try-scoring situation? So now I'm going to look at the trajectory of the ball. So the ball's in the in goal. The ball's bouncing in the in goal. So would he have got there? So let's have a look at where everyone's situated. So we've already established there's a clear foul by Jack Hughes. That ball's bouncing in goal. You can see it's bouncing out up at speed. And Charnley is in the vicinity. In my opinion, I can't be certain he would have scored the try, but in my opinion, he has prevented a clear try-scoring situation. So it's going to be a sin bin and a penalty. Thank you. I've made my decision.
Well, I think that was the way that Chris Kendall was leading anyway, wasn't he? He offered it up and said he didn't think it was going to be a penalty try. Clearly no try, but he thought a penalty and a sin binning. There we go, no try. Well, we knew that. We knew it was no try. But it's what comes next that's important. The yellow card is out, and Jack Hughes is off for much of the rest of the game now. He's missing for the next 10 minutes. Leigh down to 12 men for the next 10 minutes. And Wakefield have a points-scoring position with a penalty as well.
Yeah, it was a neat little bit of build-up play from Tyson Smoothie, who just rocks to the big side, takes it on, slides the kick through. And Jack Hughes, he just can't resist to make that play. He feels he has to do it. He's really hurt his team.
Well, they're going for the 6, not the 2.
Why not?
Yeah, 12-4 the lead, so an extra 2 doesn't do a lot to that scoreline, but if they can get over the line now against a 12-men Leigh side, that puts a very different complexion on this game, and they are working away. Staunton held up, is he? Yep, just another set of 6 here. Back it comes, Truman, and now it's Pratt who'll go for the line, and right in front of the referee, plunges in to score. It could be a match-winning moment. Ollie Pratt gets the decision, and Wakefield jump to a 16-4 lead now.
Yeah, Ollie Pratt there collecting his 3rd try this season, and he scores it. Guess where? Exactly where Jack Hughes would have been, Dave. The fireworks go off once more, and Wakefield hit a healthy front here. With 16 minutes left in this contest. They had wonderful shape to this left-hand side. All bodies in motion. And really, really well-constructed try down this left edge. Ollie Pratt getting a crucial score.
Well, in 5 minutes of actual game time, it's been quite a change of complexion, hasn't it? Jaden Myers video refereed out, Frankie Holton video refereed out, Jack Hughes sin-binned, no penalty try, but then an actual try, and Wakefield have a very healthy lead.
Yeah, just look at the pressure and the stress that this right edge are under. Liam Horn rocking on his heels, trying to defend so many runners there from Wakefield. And in the end, Ollie Pratt just scores down that channel where Jack Hughes would have been.
Jowett settles. There's a hush. Here comes the kick, which will add the 2. Never doubt him, 18 points to 4. By the way, the news from the HIAs, Caleb Hamlin and Gareth O'Brien, have both passed, so we do have a chance to see them both again later in the game.
All the key players there touching the ball. Smoothie, Sinfield, Truman, Jowett, and then Pratt on the end of it. Wonderful score from Wakefield.
3-score lead, and Leigh needs something very special from here to get themselves out of this hole. Jenna Brooks, what have you got for us on the sideline?
Yeah, you mentioned it there, Dave. Both those HIAs were triggered by the mouthguard. Gaz O'Brien, we saw initially when he was pulled from the pitch, he was frustrated. He did not want to leave. I can tell you he's come back out. He's passed the head injury assessment. Again, still frustrated, shrugging his shoulders, questioning it, I suppose. Adrian Lamb did the same thing this week in his news conference. He questioned this mouthguard technology. Perhaps we can chat to him post-match about it, get his take.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating with O'Brien especially, isn't it? Because he had a lot of HIA issues last year, and as we mentioned, game a couple of weeks ago, I forgot who they were against, but he went off for an HIA and passed, and again today he's gone off for an HIA and passed, and that, from his point of view, that news is very good news. Well, Leigh have got a job to do here, and Senior can start it, but he runs into shoulders.
Scoreboard pressure mounting on the Leopards here. 14 minutes left in this game. And they're sat there so far, 14 points to chasing.
Carried by Holton. Leigh still a good 20 metres short of the halfway line. They have a few tackles to play with, a few things to conjure.
Looked a bit late from Rodwell.
Yeah, referee's seen it. I think he was playing the advantage, wasn't he?
Just seeing if there was anything coming off the back of it. There was nothing doing. Guy Rodwell there just couldn't help but attack Lewis Brogan, ball playing. Rocks his head. Be careful there.
Well, if the suggestion before was that Leigh had to score next, they very definitely have to score next now. Finding themselves in this predicament. Tight at Ottsall. Bradford 16, Huddersfield 14. Bradford looking for what would be their 3rd win of the season, and they've had 2 close defeats as well. What a return they're having, and Huddersfield looking for their 1st win of what is turning into a bit of a parlous campaign at the moment. Leigh looking to change their fortunes here. McNamara comes out. Brogan tries to step, but Rodwell's all over him and a couple of his teammates to help. McNamara again. Cook. Lamb. Oh, and the defensive line read that well. The ball's been dropped, and the referee prevents Jaden Myers. Could have had 4 tonight. 2 ruled out by the video referee. That stopped in full flight.
Cam Scott just shutting down the play on Gareth O'Brien. It's a good read. The right arm just catches the ball as O'Brien tries to catch and pass. He'll get 6 more here.
There's one of our favourite people, Chris Kamara, big fan of Wakefield Trinity, big fan of Rugby League. Always lovely to see Chris, and he's popular with the crowd. They're giving him a cheer. Fantastic. Meantime, Leigh trying to build again here. Alec Winky stopped. Cook carries on. Brogan. McNamara. 11.5 minutes for Leigh to conjure something here. Tessie New comes cutting in. He's been a threat all night, hasn't he? He's been so difficult to handle. Now it's McNamara. Brogan puts it back, and Cook does really well to get that in, and Charlie will score in the corner. That is as smart a try as you will see. Adam Cook superb in that moment, and a great finish from a winger who's made a career habit of that kind of thing.
Yeah, with Ryan Hall watching on, he's now 9 behind him, Dave. Ball over the top was a peach for Charlie. Just had enough space on the outside shoulder for Tom Johnson. And Brogan Lewis playing through the middle of the field. Cook stepping off his right foot. Neat work there from Adam Cook, who's been under a bit of pressure. That was a quality ball over the top. That's a solid try there from the Leigh Leopards.
10 to go, boys.
Pratt comes shooting. Cook finds the pass. Charlie scores.
Well, they do have real hope again. Back within 2 scores. From the touchline, the man who helped create the try with a chance to turn 4 into 6. Cook rocks back, left-footed, strikes it well, but it's going wide. It was always going wide, so 18 points to 8 with 10 minutes to go. Charlie now on 258 tries. He's behind you, Ryan, who's still on 267. It's going to be fascinating to see how that goes for the rest of the season as well, isn't it? 18-8.
Stay behind! Stay behind! Let's go, Max.
Leigh have some belief here. Wakefield looking to snub out this renewed optimism as quickly as they can. Big set for both sides here, with and without the ball. McNamara. Reached by O'Brien, and on it goes again. Big push from Mulhern. McNamara, Cook, and now Lamb. It's Holton at dummy half. Lamb takes it in. Little general in the middle. Alec Winky just well, right back in the end. Would have knocked the wind out of his sails, I'm sure. Adam Cook sticks it up high.
Got some height on that.
He has, my goodness, he has. And that has caused the fumble and offside. Oh, he's given it the opposite way. He's given offside against Leigh. There we go, yeah, in the 10 and active. Just a rush of adrenaline. Yeah, quite clearly active, wasn't he, as well? You're looking confused?
I'm just trying to think who was active there, Dave. Alec Winky and Robbie Mulhern were nowhere in that picture.
Here's McMeekan. Good strong carry from his point of view. Stavanger. Back at dummy half again, and that's a big bulldozing effort, isn't it? And Newelly climbs to his feet. Senfield puts it back on the inside again. It's Staunton, stopped in his tracks. Stavanger. Here's Jarrett with a kick. Charnley turns to chase and will get there, but can he get out? Can he get out? Well, it's an effort, but all in vain because so many defenders around him.
Yeah, Charnley done ever so well there to get back behind the ball. Beautiful little kick from Jowett. Johnston chasing down, but in the end, Charnley nowhere to go.
Stay behind! Time off. Stay behind!
Go short here? Do they have to go short?
I think they have to get the ball back here. That's what they do.
Well, it's too short, but then it bounces, and somehow, off the bounce, they've got away with it.
Well, they need something now, Dave, don't they? 6 minutes left in this contest.
Oh, need to keep hold of the ball. Just have a look at that. Just everybody thinks not going far enough, and then up goes Senior, collects it. Penalty again.
Just a little push there, Truman on O'Brien as he releases that pass.
You've seen that Jack Hughes is back on the field as well fairly recently, so that means Leigh are back up to 13 players. Hughes taps, off we go. Still a game potentially in the balance here. Ryan Brown, a young prop forward. And here is a more experienced prop in the shape of Mulhern. 2 gone, 4 to go. O'Brien's in the centre of things. Liu will try and spin. It's back with McNamara. Oh, and O'Brien puts it down. They cannot afford that kind of a mistake at this moment in the game. Wakefield will be very, very happy.
O'Brien there just drops it. A vital part. And with that, I can imagine that Leigh's hopes in this game have all but faded.
Do not stand over the top of something like that in a vulnerable position. And
Telling off for Jazz Stavanger. Matt Ellis, the Wakefield chairman. I'm sure we'll see him on the field at the end of the game. He likes to come on and celebrate with the fans. And he's earned the right to do so, hasn't he, given what he's injected into this club. John Keir just to his side as well, who was... We saw, I think, a glimpse of that Wakefield-Castleford game all those years ago, and John Keir, of course, was Wakefield coach that day.
Yeah, the fingers would have been going, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah. Nervous. Here's Myers. Which allows us to squeeze in a reminder that we've got our 30th celebrations next week, 30 years of Super League next weekend. And plenty of stuff to watch as well, culminating in Leeds against Warrington next Sunday. Same date, same venue, same clubs that opened things up, or helped to open things up 30 years ago. Here's Truman. McMeekan. Good push again, that's a good push again. Last play. Senfield. Seeing he's underneath there. Oh, there's a battle in mid-air, but he's done very well to catch that. 4 minutes and counting.
No loose balls.
Oh, it's getting a bit muscular again down the middle. By the way, keep with us after the full-time Hooters sounds, because lots of good analysis on this game, of course, and fascinating chat with those involved. But also Tom Johnston will be joining us, and he and John Wilkin will be picking their all-time Super League 13. And here he is, right on cue, Johnston. So he'll be joining us, joining the boys down on the touchline side, looking back at the history of Super League, the stars of the game over the last 3 decades. Truman, inside for McMeekan. Tabanga. Rodwell.
Move, Isaac, that's 4. Line.
Sinfield. Winky again, but last play here. Just a roll towards the touchline, which takes it out of play. Leigh, given the question of where they want this ball played, they're going back to the middle, and Wakefield will be quite happy with that.
Yeah, Sinfield there, just taking no chances, rolling the ball into touch, knowing in all likelihood this Leigh side aren't going to be able to score 10 points to bring the game level inside the final 2 minutes of this contest.
Well, it looks like Wakefield are winning this. St Helens won at Toulouse earlier tonight, 30 points to 16, and Bradford have beaten Huddersfield. What is it, 3 out of 5 now for Bradford, 26-14, and Huddersfield still searching for that first win of the season. Some stories being written in these early stages. I think Tabanga was offside.
Yeah, Chris Kendall was calling him the whole time.
So Cook will find a touch. Leigh have not quite given up hope here, but the players on the field will be looking to keep the battle going to the very end, but time seems very much against them. And a little forlorn at the moment, Adrian Lamb, that opening weekend victory over Leeds, their only positive return from Super League so far. O'Brien, Lamb, Cook again. Alec Winky will just find himself embroiled in a battle he can't win, so plays the ball. It's with Cook. This is Lamb. Again looking lateral, and again it's Tessineau who offers that threat. But into the last 30 seconds, it's all rather forlorn now from this Leigh point of view. Lamb kicks it up there, looking for a positive finish, and might just get that positive finish. Alec Winky into score. It's only his second of the season, but it ain't going to be enough, because Wakefield have already done enough to win this game.
Yeah, Leigh Leopards finishing this contest evening brightly. The left boot of Lachlan Lamb. It's a beautiful place to put the ball, isn't it? Alec Winky, such a tall man on top of Jake Truman. Just a mismatch in size, Dave. And the right edge back rower, he's worked hard tonight. He collects a score, but it won't be enough, as Wakefield will go on to win back-to-back Super League games for the first time in 2026. It'll be disappointing for Darryl Powell just to concede right at the very end. But overall, Wakefield have done enough tonight to win this game.
Well, the kick goes over off the boot of Cook, 18-14. There are still 16 seconds to play, and we have seen some crazy things happen in games down the years, but you can only imagine now that Wakefield see this out. I think he's resigned to defeat, isn't he? Adrian Lamb.
Well, they're going to get one play.
That's all it takes. It only takes one play to score a try.
We've seen that many times over the 30 years of the Super League here on Sky Sports.
Jowett will hit this as far downfield as he possibly can. And here come Leigh with their last chance, and they will throw it around. They will have a go here. Wakefield need to step up and get in. They'll get two plays. Here's the second play. Up it goes. Countdown goes down to 0, but Leigh from deep inside their own half can't do it without a ball. That's the mistake that ends the game, and Wakefield will celebrate a second consecutive win. Daryl Powell looks on, satisfied, I'm sure, with another 2 points in the back. There'll be a lot of stuff he'll look back on and think improvement needed.
Yes.
But he's in a better position than his opposite number, Adrian Lamb. Leigh still with just a 1 win this season. A battle tonight. A real battle tonight at times. But it's Wakefield who prevail. They have beaten Leigh by 18 points to 14.
Well, this difficult start to the 2026 season for the Leigh Leopards continues, but cast your mind back just a couple of seasons ago. They won 1 from their first 10, then 10 of their last 12 to make the playoffs. That's the goal for Adrian Lamb and his side. It is certainly the stated aim of Daryl Powell and Wakefield Trinity. In the playoffs in 2025, they'll be looking for that at the very least again this year. I wonder, though, what he made of the performance. John Wilkins and Jamie Jones-Buchanan, they just wouldn't go away, Leigh.
Yeah, no, there's loads of effort, I thought, in the performance. It just probably lacks quality, which is
reflective of the absentees.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you look down their team sheet, it's probably just lacking that depth at the minute because of the plethora of injuries that they've got, and that probably, you know, rung true, really. I thought Wakefield will have things to work on themselves, but Leigh full of effort and commitment and passion, and I don't think there's any dramas at Leigh. But certainly a disappointing start to the year, isn't it?
I think for Daryl and Wakefield, it'll be important to back up that very good cup performance against the Leeds Rhinos with at the very least a victory. They've got that.
Yes, and I thought it was a middle unit in that middle third there, the defence, the way that the maps around the field spoke to each other, kept moving when the ball went away, those little details and effort areas that win your games. I thought they were really honest tonight, Wakefield. It was an honest performance. Thought Rodwell, McMeekin, Vagana, all those guys just kept moving as one unit and ultimately got on the result.
You did say pre-game that was the probably point of difference in favour of Wakefield tonight. You felt that that's where it would be.
Yeah, well, we talked about aggression, didn't we, and domination. I don't think it was 10 out of 10 in that regard, but the ability to get round the field, keep mapping, working for each other, and being that link between the middle and the edge units, it's really important because Leigh are a very destructive attacking side on the edge. But
there he is,
Wakefield's
Jurgen Klopp.
Oh yeah.
Well, he talked about this in the podcast with John and Jenna, the Bench podcast. John, you've asked him to do 10 pumps.
I said if he keeps pumping, they'll keep cheering. So I challenge him to pump as many times this fist as he can.
Well, it's important. It's important. They had a home sellout. He's done tremendous work here on and off the field, redeveloped the ground, redeveloped the team, redeveloped the hopes of the city. And to reward them tonight with a win is important.
Yeah, he's got blind ambition. Here he goes. 1, 2, 3, just a 3. It's very consistent with it.
Hey, it's early in the season.
Yeah, but he's got blind ambition. You know, he set a lofty goal of getting to the playoffs and winning the grand final. That's not been spoken about for a long time here.
No. Well, might not be seen at Old Trafford. Long way to go yet. And Mike McMeekin in the foreground there. Let's go to Jenna, who's standing by with Player of the Match. Jenna.
Yeah, thanks very much, Brian. Kai Rodwell, congratulations, you're the Betfred Player of the Match. It is now 3 wins on the bounce. That one may have got a little bit frantic, particularly at the end there.
Yeah, for us it wasn't our best win. We just need to stay in the game. I think we had penalties at the end. But as a team, we got through it, which is the main thing.
Would you almost say cue in the ruck?
What's that?
Cue in the ruck, perhaps, at the end there?
Yeah, there was a few scrappy tries. One's off kicks, so we probably want to stop. But, yeah, as we got the wins, that's all that matters.
It is. You've got the points on the board. Daryl Powell at halftime, when I spoke to him, he said that you were playing, not you personally, but the team as a whole were playing negatively as opposed to, well, what he wanted was to see positive play. What did he actually say in the sheds there?
Yeah, I think we're just a positive team. We go after teams. We want to move the ball, and then in D we want to transition fast, and we probably weren't moving the ball. We're probably just trying to go through them and play the hard way. We're a better team than that. And I think that's just all year we've done that. Probably last week was the only week that we've actually done what we wanted to, so something to build on still.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's what we keep hearing, that this team is building. What is the goal? What are you aiming to build into?
I think everyone plays in the win at the end, so that's obviously that's an easy question.
There you go, Old Trafford. We might see Matt Ellis there doing 10 fist pumps at the end. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Easy, thank you.
Thank you. We'll bring in your head coach, Daryl Powell. Might not have been the prettiest of wins, Daryl, but a win is a win, and you're smiling.
Oh, yeah, I thought there was a lot to like about us last week. I thought there was a lot less to like about us tonight. I just thought, I thought credit to Leigh. They came and they really got after us. I don't think we handled that well. I don't think we thought smart enough, and it took us a while to do that. And we bobbed a couple of chances. Yeah, look, there's loads of improvements in us, I think, from tonight. But like you say, sometimes you don't play that well, and if you get 2 points, then you can be happy with it, I think.
It is now 3 wins on the bounce, though, Daryl. That's huge.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's some consistency of winning games, obviously. I think consistency of performance is a little bit off tonight. But look, you know, we've got to win games, and that's important. I think we'll get a lot out of it tonight. Some things that we'd want to improve and be better at, and you know, it's a journey, a season, so we're still at the start of it, and we want to get a little bit better, and we certainly will from tonight.
Okay, when it comes to improvements, what is top of the list?
Well, I thought our discipline in the second half was pretty poor. You know, we gave 6 penalties away, 3 set restarts, so, you know, 33% territory is not the thing of beauty. You know, you're under pressure on your own line. I thought that happened too much to us tonight, so I think we just got to cut that out. A couple of drop balls coming out of our own end, too many really. So yeah, a little bits of frustrating things that hurt us as a team. So yeah, some individual bits to fix up.
Okay, well, it is another win. Congratulations, Daryl Powell.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, third win of the season in Super League. They, of course, have progressed in the Challenge Cup. Here's what's coming up for Wakefield. York Castleford before they face Wigan in the quarterfinals of the aforementioned Challenge Cup. Then Bradford and St Helens. Home here against Bradford. Away trip to St Helens in round 9. Well, Daryl has, of course, a long history with Super League. He has coached in the past. The father of that young man, Jack Sinfield, Kevin Sinfield, who is, of course, in attendance here tonight to watch his son, once of Leeds, now doing great things over at Wakefield. Of course, Kevin has played his part in 30 marvellous seasons of Super League, which we will celebrate next Sunday. And we're going to talk about this victory. We can't celebrate this victory, Tom Johnston. Thanks very much for joining us, because Daryl Powell says there wasn't a lot to like in that, and my players didn't think smart enough.
Yeah, it was pretty silly from us, you know, in that second half. A lot of ill-discipline. A lot of errors as well, to be fair, towards the end of the first half, which gave them a bit of a roll. They've got a good middle pack, what we wanted to tire out, but when we give them the front foot, they really took it to us.
Two words stuck out during the week from Daryl. It was consistency and physicality. He referenced last year's playoff defeat against Leigh for physicality, and he wants a more consistent performance from this side. Those two messages he's been pushing.
Yeah, that's something we really looked at, you know, before the game. But you know, off the back of last week as well, you know, the Leeds game and things like that, we had a bit of a slow start to the season, so we want to try and build on that and show how good we actually are. But yeah, last year with the physicality, they really came for us in that quarter-final, and it hurts a bit, and it's something we've looked at in the off-season and we really want to bring into our game.
Okay, John.
Yeah, I think consistency, you can look at it in two ways. It's consistency over a long period of time and consistency of games, and I think Daryl, what he's speaking about is that consistency within games, maybe having a 5 or 10 minute period where it just gets away from you. There was some things that I thought Wakefield did particularly well, and in a tight
without
game,
the ball.
Yeah, in a tight game like this, Brian, goal line defence really matters, and it doesn't matter, Tom, sometimes what it looks like, but we're going to see some examples now of just how desperate you were and scrambled to defend your line at times.
Yeah, so
yeah, I think
we know that they like to shift the ball here and things like that, and we talk a lot about trusting our inside, and we've worked a lot with Pratty and Truman over the last few weeks, especially for me, about trusting him. He's told me to go here, so when I've gone, but then it gets to a point where I know that you can't pass the ball, so I've got to pin
That's superb wing play, that. Yeah. That's superb defensive
play. Just something, you know, we have to work on and do.
Yeah, I love these efforts as well. Look at the scramble from the inside. It's Max Jowett on this first one. Max Jowett makes a huge effort just to get in this tackle. Now, defence doesn't have to be pretty at times, but you just got to find a way to stop teams scoring. Now, this one, Max Jowett, look, he's A on the other side. Well, he ends up making the tackle. That's a massive effort, Tom, for him to get there.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that Max prides himself on, his effort and things like that to work around the back of the field.
Tom, we talked a lot about the middle unit as well, never stopped moving, kept talking. How important is it for them to do that from the inside? You're talking about trust there. What does it look like when it's good?
Well, yeah, that's it. When you see the middles, you want them to work for you. That's what we talk about, getting that inside pressure and pushing out. And you usually hear a lot of people like Mike McMeekin and people like that screaming hunt, 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 which means it wants them to push from the inside, help us so we don't get people like Truman and that tied up, and then we can all slide together.
OK, Darryl Powell expects a big year from you today. You returned from injury last week against Leeds. Everybody, not just Wakefield fans, delighted to see you back. How's the body? How big a year is 2026 for you, Tom Johnston?
Yeah, the body's good. You know, it wasn't a secret that last year I was carrying a lot of niggles, double hernia and then a cyst and a meniscal tear, so managed to get through the year and, you know, fix a lot of them things up. But I had a good pre-season after getting the body fixed, so after that I'm feeling really good, and I've put a lot of weight on really because I didn't like how much the Aussies manhandled me really.
Look at the state of these knees. Can we get a shot of these knees? Look at this.
Just one leg.
That's all year, you know, you've got that.
That sticks to the bedding, doesn't it?
They're not going away. Oh, the bed, it misses is fuming.
Listen, getting over the top of Leigh in a Super League game is difficult to do. Is it easier than picking an all-time Super League 13? Because the two boys have done theirs and they found great difficulty. Did you have the same problems in trying to select an all-time 13 from so many brilliant players?
Yeah, it was tough. I was looking for everything, you know, searching for certain names, and then, you know, you're struggling on who you can and can't, and there's a few what I've missed out what I think could get into any team sort of thing. So yeah, I'm glad that you told me earlier in the week, so I had a few days to do it.
Let's have a look at it. Tom Johnston's all-time Super League 13 as selected off the Sky Sports website. Tom, talk us through it. I asked Jamie this question: which of those positions gave you the greatest trouble, the greatest heartache in selecting?
It's actually 13 and 12, because I had the debate with a few people that Andy Farrell actually played second row in some games, so I was saying, could I put him in the second row?
Cheeky, yes.
And can I put Sean O'Loughlin to the 13? Because I thought it was tough that he missed out, so the 12 and the 13 was really hard to juggle.
Paul Sculthorpe?
Yeah, that's been named as well, obviously. It's just so hard. There's so many great players who have done so many great things, and essentially it's just personal preference in the end, isn't it?
It is. Now, you've gone for Sean Long at number 7. That'll be a favourite of many players. An absolutely sensational scrum half in his day.
Yeah, definitely. I remember, you know, especially watching on the international stage, a lot of the Aussies took it to him and he just kept going. He was tough as well as skillful.
You could have only one, Jason Robinson or Les Vinocola. Who would you have?
On the other side, the other wing, your one wing, Leslie or Jason?
I'll go Leslie because he can do something like that. He describes what I keep getting to do.
I have nightmares every time I hear that name, Leslie Vinocola.
You dealt with him well, Brian.
Oh, I did, 5 tries. Yeah, made a hero of him. OK, you can vote for your all-time Super League 13. Scan that QR code and vote. It will close on Sunday. We've had Jamie's. We've had Tom Johnston's. We're going to let Tom go in and get changed now, and we'll reveal John Wilkins very shortly. Let's hear from the Leigh Leopards coach, Adrian Lamb, and say thank you to Tom Johnston. Thank you and well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Adrian Lamb, how did that one unfold for you tonight?
Again, just, you know, the discipline hurt us, and a couple of big moments in the game there. You know, there's plenty of effort, and I guess, you know, that's what I'm looking for, is just them being connected as a team. And whilst it was very, very clunky, you know, too many penalties hurt us in the end.
We spoke about the game plan pre-match, didn't we? What part did they get wrong tonight?
The part about, you know, I think it was 7-1, the penalty count at half-time, which, you know, I don't know how consistent that is right across the board, but it's certainly hurting us. And, you know, probably that kick on the first set after half-time, that they got the repeat kick and a try in the corner, that certainly hurt us as well.
It is now 4 Super League defeats this season. How concerning is it, Adrian? I know you are going to get some players back soon.
Well, you've just got to stay positive through these difficult times. You know, we only had 18 players to pick from. We only had 11 training this week, and it's not about getting too concerned about it. It's staying positive and being there for each other through the difficult times. So I know we're going to come good. We're not far off. It seems a long way at the moment, but watching their actions, we're not far. So I'm positive.
I want to talk about Gaz O'Brien. He has to come off again for another HIA, which is triggered by the mouthguard. He's really frustrated to come off again. Also frustrated to find out that he's passed. What is your view on this?
Well, it's just gone off again as he's running into the change room. That's the feedback that I've just had then. But, you know, I had some comments on this the other day about we understand that they're working to the 15-minute rule, but if there's nothing wrong with it, I think there should be some sort of exemption where there's a 5-minute block on the mouthguard if there's no signs whatsoever there that they could go back on, because he's a key player for us in the last 15-20 minutes of the game. It's the same as Catalan. You know, we needed him in the last 15 minutes, and we had Lockie Lamb playing at fullback. We had a hooker playing in the centre, so it's not ideal, but I think it's something we need to look at. But, that's the rules at the moment, and that's not the reason why we lost, but it's certainly something to think about.
Yeah, he's another player that you certainly don't need on the sidelines. Adrian Lamb, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you. Cheers.
Geez, that needs to be checked pretty quickly. I know it's a serious topic, I understand that. Yeah, but bring back the boiling the cup mouth guards.
Yeah.
There was no issues with that. That's you can't have that. If that's firing off when he's running back into the tunnel, that is a serious technological problem.
It's a device that's designed to, improve player safety, but it needs to be accurate, doesn't it? Because it can impinge on the results of games, and certainly we've seen already a couple of examples where Gaz was off the field or been told to leave the field because his mouth guard's pinged. I think the confusing thing is that he does have a history of HIA injuries, but
he won't hold up at that, Adrian Lamb, as an excuse. Let's have a look in more detail at what maybe he did let them down. He referenced discipline at half-time between penalties and 6 again. 7-1 count went against them.
Yeah, I think discipline, definitely, and it's with and without the ball, and I just feel like they look disjointed. And the combination of Lamb, Cook and O'Brien is just not singing. And I think you take your Pape out of it and it becomes more understandable. But for whatever reason, the ball's on the ground too much. Passes aren't going to hand as much as you'd like. And it maybe took him far too long, Cook, to show great footwork and a pass for the Charnley try. It took him too long, Jonesy, to maybe put it together.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the players that they've got available at the minute and who can train. They've only got big players doing big minutes, probably getting a lot of rest. Not as cohesive, lovely little chip over there in the dive and get themselves a try. But there's a lot of players with a lot of volume, I imagine, in the training week probably don't look like what Adrian Lamb would like it to be.
No, yeah, the combination of Cook and Lamb just isn't singing, is it? And they were so settled in that department. Edwin Apape, without a doubt, adds so much, a different dimension to the team. He certainly is crucial. They need him back. But there's no panic, like you said. There's just
I
no
do
panic.
think they'll lean on that season a couple of years ago, where they had that terrible start to the season for a variety of reasons, won a single game out of their first 10. But it's important that there's a lot of those players that have been through that and they're out here again tonight, including their coach.
For sure, that story, the narrative and belief that comes from reflecting on where they've been before. Adrian Lamb's talking about that cohesive, galvanising nature of having to do it tough, and they're building that equity now, aren't they? They're going to get some depth, and when they get players back, they'll remind themselves how difficult the start of the season was.
I'll tell you who's building equity and depth and resilience: Luke Robinson and the Huddersfield Giants, because they've gone to Odsal chasing their first win of the season, and it hasn't gone their way yet again. Bradford unbeaten at home, 4-2 at half-time after they swapped penalties.
Yeah, got a mad scoreline, wasn't it? But it's 54 minutes before, I think it's Powell who managed to pouch just a try, and it was a tight affair, wasn't it, until this point. And we saw Bradford really flow into some nice play, Brian. It's Leon Ruin with the try, but it's silky hands around the ruck from Andy Ackers. Ruin ends up scoring, and that made it 10-8 before Jaden Nikarima explodes.
Yeah, Jaden Nikarima, he wasn't there, was he, at the start? And he was always going to come and add value, and you can just see him taking it right on, running direct, as you talked about earlier, John. And then the points where Bradford get him.
They didn't go away, though, the visitors.
No, yeah, Gagai comes up with off a scrappy kick. And Huddersfield, they're doing it tough, like many teams are. Gagai manages just to outcompete Bradford to get the ball down. He jumps past Masters. But
16-14, 9 to go.
Yeah, and Luke Cooley with his contribution as well. Another direct run from Nikarima, just spinning and getting another try in there.
Well, that was it. It was ultimately went the way of the Bradford Bulls. 26-14 victors, so let's plug those results into the Betfred Super League table. St Helens, of course, after their win earlier over Toulouse, go to within 2 points of Wigan, sitting in second spot. Wigan, of course, unbeaten and on the top. Warrington, another unbeaten side. They're in action again later this weekend. Bradford and Wakefield, the other sides, in the top 6.